Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Crossing Luffy, Creating a Happy Ending in One Piece. Chapter 21. The warm sea breeze blew on the cheeks of the Straw Hat adventurers. The sun set, the night fell, the starry sky was dotted with stars, and the Straw Hat pirates were holding a banquet in Golden Mary to celebrate the joining of new members. Luffy was excited and checked the system panel, ding to a certain extent. Sanji's fate has changed. Change point plus 1000, change the fate of the pirate agent, and make him voluntarily join the Straw Hat adventurers, change point plus 1500, change Roronoa Zoro's defeat to Hawkeye's fate, and let Zoro find the way forward, change point plus 1000, to a certain extent, change Hawkeye Joriko Mihawk's view of the Straw Hat pirates and their fate, change point plus 1500, the remaining change points are 2000 plus 1000 plus 1500 plus 1000 plus 1500 equals 7000. The trip to Barati restaurant on the sea was a great harvest. Let's celebrate the joining of Sanji and Ajin, everyone. Luffy raised his arms and called. Oh, everyone said in unison. After having enough food and drink, it is time to plan everyone's training. Eat well and drink well, and the road to becoming stronger still needs to go on. Nami, the next destination is Kokoja village. Are you nervous? Luffy asked with a smile, but the evil fishman Arlong pirates are the evil that we must destroy. It would be a lie to say that I'm not nervous. But with you here, I'm fully prepared, don't worry. Nami looked at the tattoo on her arm in a trance and muttered to herself. Ms. Nami, I will definitely protect you. Don't underestimate the determination of a gentleman. Sanji patted his chest and promised. Since we are going to Kokoja village and destroy that group of fishman pirates, then our two new members must work hard. After all, the gap is huge. But why does Nami have to solve that fool Arlong? At this time, Ajin spoke and asked. At that moment, Nami told her story again in detail to everyone. After listening, the Straw Hat adventure group was filled with righteous indignation and vowed to make the black thief fishman Arlong die. Luffy curled his lips, patted Sanji on the shoulder and said, "You still want to protect Nami in your current state. You may have to be protected by Nami. After all, you are probably not as good as Nami, who has the worst frontal combat ability among us." Sanji was sunk in an instant, squatting silently aside and depressed, with a black and white background on his body. However, it is not impossible to catch up or even surpass in a short period of time. Luffy spoke at the right time. Sanji and Ajin's eyes lit up, and they became interested instantly and came over. That's right. It is with the help of Captain Luffy that we can make such rapid progress. Nami and Usopp affirmed. Well, I can assure you that using my devil fruit ability is enough to help you to practice for one day, which is equivalent to 100 days of hard training for others. Now, I will tell you how to practice the Navy 6 styles in hockey, but the master can only lead you to the door, but the practice is up to you. Luffy raised his hands and pressed on Sanji and Jin's shoulders respectively. Ding. Consume 1000 transformation points to increase Sanji's practice speed of the Navy 6 styles by 100 times for 1 year. Consume 1000 transformation points to increase Sanji's practice speed of observation hockey and armament hockey by 100 times for 1 year. Consume 1000 transformation points to increase Jin's practice speed of the Navy 6 styles by 100 times for 1 year. Consume 1000 transformation points to increase Jin's practice speed of observation hockey and armament hockey by 100 times for 1 year. There are now 3000 transformation points left. In the feelings of Sanji and Jin, a huge amount of energy poured into their bodies respectively, subtly changing their physical strength. Even if you watch it again, it feels really magical. Everyone exclaimed. Okay, from now on, even Jin and you two will do the most basic physical training. Sanji will run around the deck of the Golden Beauty first, and don't stop until you run out of energy. Jin is a little older, but after all, the foundation is still there. Now start practicing the most basic physical skills. Nami and Jin will practice against each other. Don't hold back. Usopp should also start to temper his domineering. Zoro and I will control your actions and movements within a certain range. Don't worry about damaging the ship. Luffy is eager to try. Oh, by the way, Sanji, accept my help. Now you can start the development of your own endoskeleton and recovery potential. Don't worry about losing your sensibility, we're here. After all, your full name is Vinsmoke Sanji. Luffy said. Where are you from? Sanji was shocked. Don't worry, No need to say more. I don't care about your past, your present is Straw Hat Adventure, you will be a member of the group and an important companion in the future. Luffy promised. Nami, you have to work hard too. After all, even if you don't like fighting, the fishman Arlong has become your inner demon, and you have to deal with him by yourself. Besides, I have already thought of your devil fruit, but you can't control that fruit without hard work. Luffy said. Hey, why is that? Oh, by the way, what type of fruit do you want to find for me? Nami was a little helpless. Natural type. I will work hard now. Nami's eyes lit up, and she was eager to try. So, before arriving at Kokoja village, the Straw Hat Adventure team began arduous training, and the road to becoming stronger began. Now everyone's panel is: Name, Monkey D. Luffy. Observation Hockey. Predict the future 89%. Armament Hockey. Internal Destruction 96%. Overlord Hockey. Convergence Control, Directional Impact 91%. Physical Skills. Navy 6 styles all have reached the peak Physical Skills Extension. 6 King's Spear, Mastery 77%, Life Return, Mastery 90%, Collapse Fist Self-Created Perfect 30%, Instant Step created by fusing Moon Step and Perfect 50%. Devil Fruit. Animal Type Mythical Beast Human Fruit Nika Form, Awakening Progress 81%. Moves. Omitted. Name. Roronoa Zoro. Observation Hockey. Second Stage 99%. Armament Hockey. Internal Destruction Ryuo 10%. Conqueror Hockey. A Glimpse of the Door 40%. Physical Skills. Sword Master 99%. Navy 6 styles. Iron Block. Perfect 65%. Shave. Perfect 77%. Paper Drawing. Perfect 59%. Moon Step. Perfect 74%. Storm Kick. Perfect 75%. Finger Gun. Perfect 55%. Physical Skill Extension. 6 King's Spear. Mastery 5%. Life Return. Mastery 20%. Collapse Fist. Mastery 6%. Flash Step. Perfect 5%. After Zoro's battle with Hawkeye, he has made great progress in all aspects. Not only has Conqueror Hockey awakened, but his Observation Hockey is only one stimulus away from predicting the future, and his Armament Hockey has also reached the level of Ryuo. Name. Nami. Observation Hockey. Awakened A Glimpse of the Way 38%. Armament Hockey. Awakened A Glimpse of the Way 31%. Physical Skills. Iron Block Beginner 25%. Shaving. Mastered 20%. Paper Drawing. Beginner 60%. Moon Step. Beginner 65%. Storm Kick. Beginner 55%. Finger Gun. Beginner 55%. Instant Step. Mastered 90%. Collapse Fist. Mastered 33%. Name. Usopp. Observation Hockey. Awakened A Glimpse of the Way 65%. Armament Hockey. Awakened A Glimpse of the Way 46%. Physical Skills. Iron Block Beginner 20%. Shaving. Mastered 55%. Paper Drawing. Beginner 45%. Moon Step. Beginner 75%. Storm Kick. Beginner 49%. Finger Gun. Mastered 40%. Instant Step. Mastered 88%. Collapse Fist. Beginner 20%. Name. Vinsmoke Sanji. Observation Hockey. Not awakened. Armament Hockey. Not awakened. Physical Techniques. Iron Block. Not started. Shaving. Not started. Paper Drawing. Not started. Moon Step. Not started. Storm Kick. Not started. Finger Gun. Not started. Instant Step. Not started. Collapse Fist. Not started. Devil Wind Kick. Started 10%. Name. Agent. Observation Hockey. Not awakened. Armament Hockey. Not awakened. Physical Techniques. Iron Block. Not started. Shaving. Not started. Paper Drawing. Not started. Moon Step. Not started. Storm Kick. Not started. Finger Gun. Not started. Instant Step. Not started. Collapse Fist. Not started. Self-created Fist. Mastered 70%. On this day, Luffy and his party of 6 Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, and Kint landed at the port of Kokoja village, anchored the Golden Beauty, and wanted to go to a restaurant and have a good meal. Luffy used his observation Hockey to roughly scan the village, and then said to his companions, "You can go to the villagers to find out the details first, or go directly to the Arlong pirates." The Arlong pirates are in the center of the village. Just rush over. I'll go first, find something to do, kill a scum. After saying that, Luffy's figure flashed and disappeared from the spot. Hey, Usopp was a little helpless, and put on his goggles directly. Did he hand it over to us directly? It seems that he thinks we are very reliable. Then let's go to find the villagers first. Thinking of this, Usopp took Kin and called Zoro. Ms. Nami, let's go see where you used to live together. Sanji is still so coquettish, and he started to show his courtesy as soon as he got to work. Nami remained silent. She didn't want to say more at this moment. Let's go. Sanji naturally took care of the lady's mood. He kept teasing Nami along the way, trying to make Nami laugh so that Nami's expression would not be so solemn and her mood would be better. In this way, a group of people split up in Kokoja village, as if they were here for fun. The atmosphere in Kokoja village seemed a bit dull. Usopp, Zoro, and Sanji walked on the streets of the village. There were even few villagers working, and some people were walking on the streets. This should have been a peaceful human village, but now, a few scattered, drunken fishmen could be seen wandering around along the way. Zoro randomly grabbed a villager and asked, "What's going on here? Don't people need to live?" The villagers of Kokoja village were startled and said hurriedly, "You look like you are not locals. Take my advice and leave here quickly." Zoro's face was livid, and he looked like he was sending guests away. It seems that this village has a lot of problems. Is it because of the Fishman Arlong pirates? At this time, the villager shook his head like a rattle. I don't know. I don't know anything. Please, sir, we have been very hard, please leave quickly. Zoro got a positive answer. Usopp, Zoro, and Akin all looked cold, secretly clenched their fists, and sighed in their hearts. Kneeling for so long, I have forgotten how to stand up. At this time, a girl with lavender hair came over and said with her hands on her hips, "Hey. You guys, stop meddling in other people's business here. Were you brought back by Nami? Are you her friends?" This girl seemed to be one of Nami's besties. The three did not answer, and the girl said to herself, "Do you know how Nami got here? Do you understand how hard life is for people here? It is because of Nami that the villagers were able to save their lives. Please, stop meddling in other people's business." "We know," Zoro shouted decisively. "We came here because we know what Nami has been through." Usopp pushed his goggles. "We came here to deal with the Arlong pirates," Ajin said. "But, the Arlong pirates are really..." Zoro interrupted her before the purple-haired girl finished speaking. "Ah, don't worry. Arlong's group is just a group of pathetic and hateful weaklings," Zoro said indifferently. "I hope you really have the ability, and not to hurt yourself and everyone just for the sake of momentary pleasure." The girl with purple hair muttered in a trance as she looked at the backs of the three people going away. On the other side, Sanji and Nami came to the office where Nami used to draw nautical charts for the Arlong pirates. Nami looked at the wooden table where she had worked, sighed, and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. "You, who are you?" "Nami." The fishman who stayed behind found them, and Sanji kicked him over with a head meat, causing him to faint. "Nami, the things here are no longer needed, right?" Sanji took a puff of cigarette and asked. "No need." Nami seemed very calm, but only she knew how much ups and downs she had in her heart. Sanji stopped talking nonsense and directly kicked the wooden table and the items on it into pieces. Oh no, Mr. Aegean was caught by Arlong because he did not pay tribute to Boss Arlong. The shouts of residents came from outside. After hearing this, Nami and Sanji activated their observation hockey and rushed towards the direction of the voice. In the distance, the fishman Arlong was pinching Mr. Aegean's neck was lifted up. "Ha ha ha ha. You didn't pay tribute this month. I won't protect you anymore, go to hell." At this moment, a gunshot suddenly rang out. Fatal shot. Usopp raised his gun and fired a bullet. The bullet with sparks directly broke Arlong's nose, and the whole fishman flew backwards for several circles and fell heavily to the ground. "Ah, it hurts so much. My nose. Who is it? How can a bullet hurt me?" Arlong rolled on the ground and roared while covering his bleeding nose. "My bullets can't even penetrate the skin of a fishman," Usopp said calmly in the distance with goggles. The onlookers were stunned, shocked, and sighed. At this time, Arlong raised his head and saw Nami, who was close at hand. It's so ugly. Fishman Arlong, Nami said with disgust. It's you. It's you. Nami, don't you want to live? Arlong roared, rolled up from the ground, and was about to rush towards Nami, but was kicked away by Sanji with a belly meat. Leave this battle to me. This is a battle that belongs only to me. I want to solve him myself. Nami took out the weather stick. Arlong did not fall down, and continued to rush. I can see it. I can see it. This speed, this strength, is not even 1/10 of the strength when Luffy trained me. It's really as Luffy said, so weak. Nami was a little nervous at first, but she suddenly calmed down when she saw this. Nami dodged sideways directly, and knocked Arlong to the ground with a hand knife. Before Arlong could react, she kicked him away with another rain kick. I am a higher race, how can I be so embarrassed? I can never lose to ordinary humans. Nami, what on earth did you do? Arlong was covered in wounds and was crushed throughout the whole process. He could only be helpless and furious. Just like what you saw. You, Fishman Pirate Arlong, do you know how I've lived these past 10 years? Do you know how much I've suffered? Do you know how many of my relatives and friends have suffered because of you? If I hadn't met Captain Luffy and the others, I would still be foolishly raising 100 million berries just for your false promise. Nami cursed, but she didn't stop, punching and kicking Arlong non-stop, beating him without any chance to fight back. Lightning strike. Nami took out the weather stick and directly split Arlong into 3/4 rare. Ah! Arlong fell to the ground and screamed in pain. Indeed, I can't kill you even with this. Just like you said, you fishmen are born with stronger bodies than us humans. Nami was a little disdainful, but the upper limit of fishmen is not high, while humans can constantly break through their own limits. People like you are probably just relying on your natural fishman body to do evil. You are so weak and pitiful. Little white face, if you have the ability, don't hide behind a woman, confront me head on. Arlong was furious and glared at Zoro behind him, and actually provoked him. Just you. That guy is a great swordsman in my heart. I wonder if you can withstand his sword. Nami sneered. At this moment, Luffy had found the station of Colonel Mouse. Without saying a word, he killed everyone with the Overlord God in seconds, grabbed the Den Den Mushi, called Garp, and informed his grandfather Garp that he had collected evidence of Colonel Mouse's collusion with pirates, oppression of civilians, and evil deeds, and arrested him. Without waiting for Garp's response, he hung up the phone. In order to prevent Colonel Mouse from escaping, he even found a big chain, tied him up, broke Colonel Mouse's feet, took away the money he had plundered, and left immediately. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could a swordsman appear in the East China Sea? Arlong was desperate. Believe it or not, what can you do as a dying man? Luffy suddenly flashed in. Poor weakling, frog in the well, take a good look at how big this world is. After betraying Fisher Tiger and being killed instantly by Admiral Kizaru, you can only roll back from the Grand Line in disgrace, and choose a small village on the edge of the so-called weakest sea to do evil. This is how your life will be. Nami, turn off your observation haki, I will command. You. Arlong showed fear on his face, and actually rushed down Luffy directly, and then was kicked away. From the moment you saw me, you should have understood the gap between us. But you still dared to attack me. Should I say you are fearless or ignorant? Luffy leaned on the side with his arms folded and closed his eyes to rest. Move 3 steps to the left. Along actually took 3 steps to the left. Back 7 steps. Along was directly predicted. Kick from the lower body. Eren attacked Nami, but Nami knew about it in advance and dodged it instantly. Goose step punch. Eren was still predicted and was knocked to the ground by Nami's stick. Stop him, Nami, he wants to run, enter the pool, and launch sea flow shoulder throw. Although the power is not great, it will cause damage to the surrounding houses. Nami rushed forward instantly, stuffed the tip of the weather stick into Eren's mouth, and with a discharge, Eren could no longer stand up. You can actually predict my prediction. What the hell? What kind of monsters are you? Eren lay on the ground, doubting his life. Fool like you can only go so far. Pay the price for your evil deeds. This punch is for my good sister. This punch is for Belmere. This punch is for the people of this town. This punch, Nami cried, punching Arlong again and again, and her fists were even covered with a layer of black armament haki, beating him into a bloody mess, and he could no longer be seen in human form. Fishman pirates, Arlong, die. Enough. Nami. Enough, that fool Arlong has been dealt with by you. Luffy stepped forward, put his hand on Nami's shoulder, tried to calm her down, and put a straw hat on Nami's head to cover her crying face. At this time, the streets of Kokoja village were already crowded with people. They watched Nami and others fighting Arlong in the street, and they couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. Occasionally, there were a few whispers, but the streets seemed to be audible. Everyone, Arlong, who forcibly occupied the village for 10 years, is completely dead. No, we are completely free. We are liberated. No more innocent people will die tragically. Never again. Nami raised her head and smiled, but her voice was a little choked, which was out of tune with Arlong's blood on her fists and the midday sun in the village. At this time, Nami's good sister, the girl with purple hair, walked out of the crowd silently and hugged Nami. Nami finally burst into tears, as if she wanted to vent all the grievances she had suffered for more than 10 years. Arlong is dead. Kokoja village is liberated, Mr. Gien shouted to the people around him as if he had been forgotten by everyone. Oh 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 oh. The villagers around seemed to be slow to realize it, and all kinds of cheers broke out, supporting Nami, saying things like, "We wronged you. Nami is our hero. You have worked so hard in the past 10 years. You are as great as Belmere." Everyone smiled happily, and the original misunderstanding was completely eliminated. All kinds of food were stuffed into Nami's hands. This was also a clumsy way for the simple villagers to express their gratitude. It's not over yet, friends, Luffy said loudly. Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, and Kin, go and eliminate all the members of the Fishman Arlong pirates in the village. Don't hold back. They support Arlong, and they must pay the price for the evil they have done in the past 10 years. By the way, Zoro, don't release the Conqueror's Haki first, you are not proficient yet. If you release the Conqueror's Haki rashly, you will be knocked out indiscriminately regardless of friend or foe. If you encounter a fishman named Hachi, remember to save his life, he is still useful. Got it, Captain. Everyone agreed and scattered. At this moment, the people of the Fishman pirates are still unclear about the situation, and they are all confused, not knowing what happened. But the Straw Hat adventurers will not hold back. Sanji and Kin rushed into the base of the Fishmen pirates, knocking them to the ground with one move. Usopp went to a high place, raised his sniper rifle, and shot and killed the fishmen who rushed out one by one. Zoro was too lazy to even draw his sword, walking on the street, and knocked out the fishmen he met with his scabbard, simple and rough. There were also fishmen shouting nonsense like, "You fools! Boss Arlong will avenge us. We are a superior race, and humans are not related to us," and they were killed directly without any nonsense. Fishman Kadri used Fishman Judo to attack Sanji, which looked flexible and gorgeous, but in fact it was just an empty frame. Sanji lit a cigarette, kicked him and killed him in seconds, saying, "Your Fishman Judo is really not good, it seems that you are not at home at all." Fishman Kadri B rushed towards Kin with a huge shark-shaped sawtooth weapon, and was undoubtedly killed by Kin with 3 punches, and could not cause any trouble at all. Usopp was searching for Hachi, the fishman Luffy said needed to be spared. He was wearing goggles and searching with his observation haki. Suddenly, he saw an octopus fishman holding 8 knives and asked directly, "Are you the fishman Hachi?" The fishman Hachi saw the enemy and spat, "I will not change my name, I will not change my surname, I am really the fishman Hachi, die." Then he went straight to Usopp. "Since Captain Luffy said he would spare your life, then you have to be careful not to kill you instantly." I was a little speechless, and threw a gunpowder start directly, blew it into 3/4 cooked, and dragged the unconscious Hachi back to Luffy. In less than an hour, the Straw Hat adventurers caught the Fishman Arlong pirates in one fell swoop, tied up all the fishmen tightly, and threw them on a beach. At this point, the Kokoja village was completely liberated. The villagers of Kokoja were so grateful that they hailed the Straw Hat adventurers as heroes. Luffy also wanted to distribute the money that Colonel Mouse had looted to the villagers, but was sternly rejected by the villagers, saying that the Straw Hat adventurers had saved all the villagers and this was the spoils and reward they deserved. Luffy did not refuse and accepted the Baileys. "By the way, your village has stood up from now on. Remember this in the future. This is where our Straw Hat adventurers are sheltered. Never forget it." Don't kneel down to any force again. Luffy raised his arm and got the support of the villagers. You also need to promote education, civil engineering, agriculture, economy, and lay a solid foundation for education. The village cannot be poor forever. Mr. Ken and the girl with purple hair will implement the specific matters. Luffy spoke with a loudspeaker, and the villagers agreed. Just then, Luffy's telephone bug rang. It was Grandpa Garp who called. You stinky boy, why did you deal with another Navy rebel without saying a word? It seems that the Navy handled the situation very quickly. Well, I can't stand the collusion between officials and thieves in Kokoja village and oppression of civilians. You little devil. By the way, the Arlong pirates here were also wiped out by us. I'll trouble you to come and clean up here. This credit can be completely attributed to the Navy. You really made my grandfather a hard-working man. Garp covered his face on the other side. Didn't they send a Navy unit to wipe out the Fishman Arlong pirates before? They completely underestimated the Fishman Arlong pirates, and now they are probably all sunk. Quote. Forget it. As long as you don't become a pirate. Hi. Navy headquarters. What? You said that Hawkeye had a fight with someone and they were evenly matched. Which old monster was born? Why is there no news at all? Did Hawkeye reply? Quote. No. What? You said that the Fishman Arlong group entrenched in Kokoja village was wiped out by the Straw Hat Adventure group. That's a big pirate with more than 10 million people, so don't they have the strength of a vice admiral? Hey, Garp, what's going on? If you don't say anything, I'll put a bounty on the Straw Hat Adventure group. Ha. The Straw Hat Adventurers are not pirates. They are the righteous side. How can they offer a bounty? You fool. At this moment, the Straw Hat Adventurers left Kokoja village with Nami and headed towards their next destination, Rogue Town. Night falls, the sea breeze blows. The Straw Hat Adventurers are on their way to Rogue Town. Everyone is chatting excitedly on the Golden Beauty about the future direction. Luffy said, now, Nami's troubles have been solved. Everyone has made great progress in the training in the past few days. The next step is to go to the Grand Line, but before that, we have to rest in Rogue Town and replenish supplies. Ding! Congratulations to the host, helping Nami defeat her inner demon, the Arlong pirates. To a certain extent, Nami's fate has been changed, and the transformation point is plus 1000. With the help of Speed, Sanji and Ajin awakened the observation haki and armed haki in advance, and the transformation point is plus 1000. The remaining transformation points are 3000 plus 1000 equals 5000. Please continue to work hard and create miracles. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. Sanji, Kin, during these days of training, your observation haki and armament haki have also awakened, and you should have mastered the physical skills I taught you. Luffy asked while eating barbecue. Well, I feel full of strength now. Kin replied. Sanji was silent for a while, and then asked, my training speed is so fast, will my emotional personality really not be wiped out? Believe me, Sanji, there is no problem. If the technology of Germa 66 is really strong enough to erase humanity, you would no longer be yourself when you were a child. What's more, now your spirit and your body are several times stronger than before, and you have already mastered the Devil Wind Kick. Luffy said with a smile. Well, it's still hard to believe when I think about it now. Sanji replied. Name, Vinsmoke Sanji. Observation haki. Awakened beginning to learn 42%. Armament haki. Awakened beginning to learn 38%. Physical techniques. Iron block. Beginner 25%. Shave. Beginner 51%. Paper drawing. Beginner 40%. Moon step. Beginner 68%. Storm kick. Mastered 3%. Finger gun. Beginner 20%. Flash step. Beginner 65%. Collapse fist. Beginner 24%. Devil wind kick. Mastered 50%. Name. Akin. Observation haki. Awakened beginning to learn 45%. Armament haki. Awakened first look 51%. Physical skills. Iron block. Beginner 34%. Shaving. Beginner 47%. Paper drawing. Beginner 30%. Moon step. Beginner 33%. Storm kick. Beginner 31%. Finger gun. Beginner 55%. Instant step. Beginner 40%. Collapse fist. beginner 66%, self-created fist, perfect 30%. Captain Luffy, I think I have found the fighting style I want. Mr. Sanji's kicking skills are outstanding, so I think I prefer boxing. Ajin said solemnly. Oh, has Ajin also decided on the path to take? Usopp asked. Well, yes, I want to go the way of boxing. Mr. Luffy, I remember your grandfather was called Iron Fist Garp. He must have unique insights on boxing. Jing looked at Luffy with hope. Well, the reason why my grandfather is called Iron Fist is because Grandpa Garp's boxing and armament hockey are almost invincible in the world. What's more, Grandpa Garp has a conqueror hockey that even Pirate King Roger has to retreat. Luffy affirmed, since you want to go the boxing route, then I will tell you a set of boxing techniques. Ajin's eyes lit up, and Luffy stood up and wanted to demonstrate it. This set of boxing techniques is known for its unparalleled strength. You can understand it as a boxing technique derived from my grandfather, although it was brought from another world. Bajiquan is a short-range boxing technique, and its movements generally pursue strength, simplicity and the style of rapid force. In terms of fighting techniques, it emphasizes inch-by-inch interception, hard hitting and hard opening. It truly has the characteristics of being hit, helping, squeezing, leaning, collapsing and shaking is generally described. Bajiquan exerts force on the heels, runs through the waist, and penetrates the fingertips, so it has great explosive power and is very rich in fighting characteristics, with the momentum of shaking the shoulders to knock down the sky and stomping the feet to shake the 9 states. Bajiquan has 8 killer moves, namely 3-point hand of the King of Hell, hard climbing of the Tiger, 3 disregards of welcoming the door, hard twisting and entanglement of the Overlord, hand of welcoming the rising sun, hard opening of the left and right double claws of the Yellow Warbler, and standing on the ground to reach the sky. Luffy said, and then demonstrated Bajiquan according to the memory of his previous life. Ajin listened attentively, and said after a long time that he remembered it. By the way, I seem to have heard those fishmen call Sanji Blackfoot before, it's a very cool title. Luffy joked. Sanji has already covered his face. Stop calling me such an embarrassing name. It's really embarrassing I don't know what my title will be after I master the boxing skills. If possible, I hope I can decide it myself. Ajin said. There are already Black Arm and Iron Fist in the Navy. Ajin, what do you think of Worm? Luffy smiled harmlessly. Worm, it sounds better than Blackfoot. As long as it's not so shameful. Ajin began to imagine the future now. Everyone, I have certain plans for your devil fruits. Luffy said at this time. Oh, tell me about it. Everyone gathered around Luffy. First of all, Zoro, his fruit is not considered for the time being, after all, he may want to be a pure swordsman. Then there is Nami. Regarding your fruit, according to my special intelligence channel, there are often lightning and thunder on the Sky Island on the Grand Line. It is said that it is a divine punishment from the god of the Sky Island, but according to my estimation, it is a natural thunder fruit. Quote. Next is Usopp. You can't be in a hurry, the devil fruit I found for you is probably still in Impel Down. The legendary Sky Island also has Impel Down. Everyone was surprised. Then it's Sanji. Regarding your devil fruit, it's also on the Grand Line. It is said that there is an island full of volcanoes, and the magma under the island is active. There are rumors that there is a glowing point in the underground magma. However, in the past 200 years, no one has found that glowing point, because few people believe that there is such a strange island. Even if they believe it, no one will rashly go deep into the underground magma to explore. It should also be a special devil fruit. Quote. Finally, it's Jin. I haven't thought about your devil fruit yet. You just need to strengthen yourself first. If there is a fruit you like in the future, we will definitely do our best to get it for you. After hearing this, everyone was full of fighting spirit. After all, no matter how powerful a devil fruit is, the most fundamental factor that determines its height is the domineering strength of the owner. After speaking, everyone went to rest. System, you will find a way to obtain the devil fruit. Of course, my dear host, the world change system is at your service. The system can automatically explore and guide the host to obtain the devil fruit. If you kill the devil fruit owner, the host does not need to do it. You only need to prepare various kinds of fruits in advance. The system will automatically collect the scattered devil fruit power for you and inject it into it. When you are proficient, you can even seize the devil fruit power without killing it. It seems that your setting is really strong, but will the rules of the world allow it? Of course, no matter how strong the devil fruit is, you must never slack off in your own practice and cannot rely too much on the devil fruit power. After all, no one knows how much background the Tianlong people in the original work have, and who is the one on the throne. If you rely on the halo of the Child of Destiny, sooner or later you will taste a tragic defeat. Quote, of course the world will not stop you, the host, from growing normally. Speaking of which, the only people in this world who can threaten you, the host, are probably those sea emperors. System, what did you say just now? On this day, the Straw Hat adventurers finally arrived at Rogue Town, the town of beginning and end. Everyone, now you can go to Rogue Town for a stroll. Meet at the port in 6 hours. Luffy quickly got off the boat. Oh, everyone agreed and left. I'm sure all the Straw Hat adventurers will have their own adventures in this town of beginning and end. Thinking of this, Luffy tightened his straw hat, put on a black cloak, and headed straight for the execution platform of Pirate King Roger. Speaking of which, I had seen the description of the execution platform in the original book in my previous life. I didn't feel that there was anything special about the execution platform in the original book, but it still attracted so many pirates who just wanted to get a glimpse of the legendary style. I don't know what it would feel like if I went there in person now. Luffy was walking on the streets of Rogue Town, and suddenly caught a glimpse of an inconspicuous shop on the side of the road. On the wooden door of the shop, there is a line of words crookedly engraved, Gall D. Roger. Isn't this the tavern opened by the boss who worships the Pirate King Gall D. Roger in the original book? Since I'm here, how can I not go in and take a look? It's closed. It will be closed after today. The tavern owner looked old and frail. He saw someone walked into the tavern, so he quickly ordered them to leave. Luffy pointed at the words on the door and looked at the skull on the table and said, I'm not here to drink, I'm here to inquire about Gall D. Roger. After listening, the old man was silent for a while, and no longer saw the guest off, but told Roger's great achievements. Luffy is still very interested in the past of this Pirate King. Gall D. Roger conquered the Grand Line and left the so-called One Piece on the final island of Raftel, attracting countless pirates to flock to the Grand Line and opening the Great Pirate Era. Although he had obtained the honor that made people jealous in this world, he felt that his life was coming to an end. He immediately gave up the glory and wealth of the Pirate King and the praise of thousands of people, and turned himself into the navy. In the end, he was publicly executed and died. What was his motive for doing such a thing? Why did he give up everything as the Pirate King? Why did he have to start the Great Pirate Era on the public execution? All of this seemed to be connected by a special thread of fate, but there was always a key piece of information missing to make the truth clear. Perhaps Roger's surrender and death by execution seemed stupid, free and easy, and crazy to others in this world. But looking at the overall situation, Roger seemed to want to use his life to completely muddy the sea. Then all the doubts returned to the beginning. What was Gall D. Roger's motive? As a member of the D clan, how could he not know the true meaning of D? As the Pirate King, how could he not have the ambition to change the world? As the person closest to Joy Boy, how could he not know the truth of this world? Didn't he want to be Joy Boy? He wanted to. Not only did he want to, he also took concrete actions. But the conditions for success didn't seem to be met, so he failed. Everything was back to square one. But how could this Pirate King be willing? He left behind the so-called One Piece, opened the Great Pirate Era, and completely muddied the waters of this world. So what purpose was hidden behind all these actions? This purpose required the life of a Pirate King. He became a beacon, guiding one after another of the latecomers. He ignited the fire in people's hearts, making everyone yearn for One Piece. But if it was just to find One Piece, doing all this was too far-fetched, so what was the deeper factor? Luffy was so absorbed in his thoughts that he didn't notice that the old man had finished his story. Hey, you little brat, are you teasing me? The old man roared. Ah, sorry, I was thinking about something. By the way, I'm not a pirate. Luffy replied. What? If you are not a pirate, why are you wasting my time? Get out. The old man was about to drive him away. I don't agree with Roger's approach. He opened the Great Pirate Era. Although it made the world more active, it also made the sea dangerous and caused countless people to be broken up. It was really biased to rashly open the Great Pirate Era. Although at the last moment, it was difficult to have a better way. But in my eyes, a thief is a thief. No matter how bright and beautiful the packaging is, it cannot change the fact that pirates do evil. The result of Roger's decision must not be what he wants to see, because in your story, Roger is a righteous, brave, wise and charming pirate. The Roger in your story never does evil, never kills innocent people, and helps others as much as possible wherever he goes. Pirate King Gall D. Roger is the least like a pirate. Now, countless pirates go out to sea just to do evil, but as long as they do evil, it must be wrong. Justice may be late, but it will never be absent. Quote. The old man was stunned and doubted his ears. Oh, by the way, did Roger say who he was waiting for? Joy Boy. Unfortunately, I don't plan to be Joy Boy, and no one in the world will be Joy Boy. People in the world will only be themselves. I will not be Joy Boy, nor will I be Gall D. Roger. I will surpass them, Luffy said calmly, drank the wine in the glass, and turned away. Oh, by the way, my name is Monkey D. Luffy, and I am now sailing as a Straw Hat Adventure Group. I am the captain, just for adventure and justice. Luffy stood at the door of the store, his back to the sun. The old man stared at Luffy's receding back for a long time, unable to come back to his senses, only feeling blinded. Luffy has left the Gall D. Roger Tavern and is heading towards the execution platform in Roger Town. Let's talk about two things separately. On the other side, Zoro set out to find a weapon shop. He asked the townspeople about the location of the largest Kudao shop in the town. Sanji stayed on the ship to digest the recent gains, and by the way, he watched the Golden Mary for his companions. He remembered what Luffy said to him the night before. Sanji, I don't have much to teach you about your kicking skills. Your Devil's Wind kick is already very good, and your basic physical conditions are also very good. Now you have developed the genetic factors of Germa 66. You only need to work hard to cultivate your domineering. But because of your unique physical conditions, you can also be more strict with yourself. Your leg skills and kicking skills are particularly outstanding. You can completely combine the 6 styles of the Navy that everyone has learned into your Devil's Wind kick. There is also a saying that, hands are 2 doors, and you rely on your legs to hit people. Although you are good at leg skills, as a chef you don't need to use hand attacks very much, but you also need to practice hand physical skills. You can't just use your legs, otherwise you will be easily targeted by the enemy. I accidentally got a leg skill here, which can also be integrated into your Devil's Wind kick, but I am not good at leg techniques, so I will directly convey it to you with the power of the Devil Fruit. At that time, Luffy said, and a sound of the world sounded in Sanji's mind, and even a picture appeared. 12 ways of tan leg. The style of tan leg, the movements are sharp and coordinated. The moves are varied, the attack and defense are fast. The rhythm is clear and the explosive power is strong. The fighting skills of tan leg are mostly the techniques of upper and lower body synchronous attack, which can make the opponent defend without defense. The lower body moves require the legs to be 3 inches below the knee, the moves are small and the speed is fast, and when attacking, no risk of being defeated. The upper plate attack is mostly based on chopping and smashing techniques, with great force and fierce punches. The famous moves are the first move of the horse and a whip, the second move of the cross ghost pulling drill, the third move of the chopping and smashing wheel posture, the fourth move of the oblique kick, the fifth move of the lion double playing in the water, the sixth move of the hook, chopping and twisting single whip, the seventh move of the phoenix double spreading wings, the eighth move of the golden stool facing the sky, the ninth move of the dragon and the jade belt, the 10th move of the magpie climbing the plum peak, the 11th move of the wind swinging lotus leaf leg, and the 12th move of the mandarin duck clever chain. Quote. Sanji got a huge amount of information, so he naturally had to practice carefully on the ship. On Zoro's side, just like the original work, he accidentally met Tashigi who looked like Kuina. Has anyone told you that you look like someone? Zoro was shocked. How could there be 2 flowers that are exactly the same in the world? Right. People in the Navy always say that I look like Commodore Kuina, but Commodore Kuina and I have nothing to do with each other. It turns out that Kuina has become a Commodore. It's true that she is different with the endorsement of Garp and Jiwon. The two chatted all the way and came to the Pudao shop. If you want to buy a knife, look for yourself. Just pick the one you like. The shop owner was a little absent-minded. Price is not a problem. I just want a good knife, Zoro said coldly. The boss raised his eyes. Huh. This is Wado Ikimonji. Are you willing to sell this knife to me? 100 million, no, 500 million Bailey. The boss was shocked by his own poor eyesight. This is definitely a powerful swordsman. At this time, Dashichi also took out a small notebook. Yes, this is the Wado Ikimonji of Daiwu 21 Works. Huh, do you want to listen to what you are talking about? I'm here to buy a knife. Zoro expressed doubt. Since we don't sell knives, just pick one yourself, the boss said dejectedly. Zoro went straight past the dazzling display case and came to a pile of knives in the corner. He pulled out a strange-looking knife as if it was destined. This is a really good knife. The boss was anxious as in the original book, and shouted that if the knife was not sold, he would take it back. Is it really a demon sword? Zoro took the knife, but directly wrapped it with armed color domineering, but the knife showed resistance. Sure enough, this is the third-generation Kitetsu that is recorded as a fast sword. It is a demon sword. Tashigi pushed his glasses. Since you all know that this is a demon sword, why are you still? The boss became more and more anxious. Zoro said to himself, oh, you think it's immoral to use haki to force you to surrender? Then let's see who has a tougher life. Zoro said as he dispersed his armament haki through the Sandai Kitetsu high up, then stretched out his arm and spun his sword down, but it didn't hurt him at all. So, the Sandai Kitetsu was completely convinced. The boss and Tashigi were stunned. Zoro came straight to pay the bill, but the boss insisted on not charging a penny, and instead said, I haven't seen a swordsman like you for a long time. I will give you this sword. Give it to you, and bet on your future. The boss took out the Snow Walk of Ryukai Sword 50 Works and gave it to Zoro. Tashigi was completely numb to Zoro's chance. Zoro unexpectedly prepared 3 swords, and the purpose of the trip to Rogue Town was exceeded. On the other side, Ajin found a blacksmith shop and made a pair of heavy brass knuckles. Usopp went to the gun store and expanded his ammunition reserves. Nami went shopping happily, went to the clothing store and tried all kinds of clothes, but didn't buy any, which was really because the boss couldn't do anything. Let's talk about Luffy. Luffy flashed and instantly reached the top of the execution platform when others couldn't react, took off his hat and began to remember Roger. Are you a pirate? It's forbidden to enter there, get down. The man suddenly hit Luffy with a white fist. Luffy was speechless. Is this smoker usually so brave? Didn't he see that he used his haki to instantly reach the top? Who gave him the courage? Luffy didn't even look at it. He grabbed Smoker's fist and pulled it over. He pointed his finger at Smoker's chest, and the red and black Ryuzakura haki surged on his finger. I'm not kidding, Smoker. I'm not a pirate, I'm an adventurer. I have no ill will towards you. If I did, you would have died long ago. Now, please be quiet for a while. The powerful haki instantly invalidated Smoker's smoke fruit ability. Smoker wanted to say something, but Luffy released the haki of the limited attack, and Smoker's consciousness suddenly fell into darkness. Colonel Smoker, a marine shouted anxiously below. He's fine. I'll leave it to you to take care of him, Luffy said. People and ghosts are all showing off, only the Smoker is being beaten. Luffy felt the will of the Pirate King Roger and silently remembered for a minute. After the end, he looked up and saw a hurried cloaked man. He seemed surprised that he had just killed a natural fruit ability user in seconds, and he wanted to leave at this time. Huh, this guy is. Shouldn't he be sailing on the Grand Line now? How come he is here? This guy didn't appear in the original book. Luffy flashed and stopped the mysterious man. Trafalgar D. Law, please stay. Law's face under the cloak was extremely shocked, and he wanted to escape quickly with a room. Haki is strong enough to be immune to the devil fruit ability. Luffy grabbed Law's hand and interrupted it directly. The fruit ability that can teleport is really convenient. Law frowned when he heard it. Who are you? Are you also planning to play this fruit? Quote, I am Monkey D. Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Adventure Team. That's not the case. Compared to the Operation Fruit, I prefer, oh no, this statement is too strange, I appreciate you more. Luffy showed a harmless smile. How about it, Trafalgar D. Law, do you want to join our team? I know you want to kill Tien Yasha now, I can help you, let you solve Tien Yasha by yourself. Why should I believe you? Law hid backwards. This strange guy wanted to pull him into the group right away, and arranged a Shichibukai before reaching the Grand Line. No matter how you think about it, there is something wrong. You don't need to believe me now, we can make a bet. If I let you solve Doflamingo by yourself, how about you join us? Luffy threw out a booklet casually. This is Gall D. Rogers' Domineering Training Notes. You are too weak now, just practice according to it. This is a copy I made, just as a gift for you. We will see each other again in the future. Quote. After saying that, he left in style. Luo accepted it in confusion. What the hell, just gave Rogers notes as a gift. What a weird guy. As the sun sets in the west, the afterglow of the setting sun decorates the town with tranquility and peace. 6 hours have passed quietly, and the Straw Hat adventurers have either gained a lot or returned to the port with a sense of unfulfilled desire, ready to set sail. Zoro showed Luffy and others the 2 newly acquired swords. Luffy couldn't help but sigh that the convergence of the timeline is really magical. No matter what, Zoro will get 3rd generation Kitetsu and Snow Walk. Suddenly, Luffy's mind moved, and Zoro's eyes flashed red. Who? Everyone vaguely noticed that a strong man was peeping here with his observation haki, and they all became alert. Don't worry, the person who came has no ill intentions, he is an acquaintance. Luffy waved his hand and said, you guys set sail first, I'll be back soon. After that, Luffy disappeared in a flash. Really, it's already night, we have to hurry to set sail on the Grand Line. At this time, there won't be any complications. Nami was a little helpless. In the distance, a mysterious man in a dark green cloak was quietly waiting there. Luffy flashed and came to the mysterious man. I'm here, to see you off. You are going to the Grand Line. After all, what reason is there to stop a man from setting sail? The mysterious man said in a low voice, looking quite impressive. Luffy's expression was a little complicated. Well, we are about to set off for the Grand Line. What should I call you? Mr. Revolutionary Monkey D. Dragon, or Father. Luffy had an inexplicable emotion in his heart about this cheap father, because in the original work, Dragon had almost no substantial communication with his son. Now that he has been in the pirate world, he has never seen this man since he was a child. His grandfather Garp brought him up, and occasionally the bandit Dayton would come to take care of him. Ahem, just call me Mr. Dragon. Mr. Dragon, the supreme commander of the Revolutionary Army, seemed extremely reserved at this time. He paused and continued, since you are here, please tell us about your experience. In the dark, Monkey D. Garp slowly walked out of the shadows. Come to think of it, we haven't seen each other for almost 20 years. How are you, old man? Monkey D. Dragon sighed. Grandpa Garp was surprisingly serious. His fist slowly climbed up to the armament haki. The atmosphere was tense. After a long silence, he silently put down his fist and turned to Luffy and said, you little brat, do you know how big a mess you have made here? The Navy's excellent natural ability general was directly defeated by you. On the execution platform, in full view of everyone. I just finished dealing with the aftermath of the Fishman Arlong pirates, and I had to run over to clean up your ass. Ahaha, I didn't want to hurt Smoker, the smoky man, I just shocked him a little. Besides, he suddenly chose to take action, I just used haki to let him sleep for a while. Luffy touched his head. Quote. Do you know that the Navy sent him here to let him accumulate military merits and train well? Before the Grand Line or even the first half of the Grand Line, it was almost impossible for anyone who could threaten the natural ability users to exist, but you actually killed him in 1 second. This is too much. Garp was a little helpless. Quote. I didn't expect you to be so strong now. I was thinking of seeing you off and helping you out. It seems that I was worrying too much. Dragon said at this time. You too, Dragon. Why did you betray the Navy without even saying goodbye? And you set up the Revolutionary Army. You are already a Vice Admiral of the Navy, aren't you? Do you know how much trouble you have brought to the world? Garp roared. Do you think the Navy is really just? Father, the justice of the Navy is not the justice of the majority, it is the justice of the world's nobles. The justice of the Navy is restricted everywhere, and it is timid. It is just justice that serves the world's nobles. Dragon sighed and said, quote, Even so, you can discuss it with me. There will always be a way to solve it, instead of leaving the Navy without saying a word. Garp was a little discouraged after listening, because this problem is an objective fact, and it is impossible to ignore the facts. Quote, There is no way, Father. As long as the Navy is not an independent justice force, true justice will never be achieved. I have made up my mind, Drago said firmly. Alas, never mind, now is the time for you young people, and now there is no place for us old people. Garp was a little depressed. Luffy said at this time, That's not the case, Grandpa. You are definitely not out of date. Moreover, if you don't want to support any party, you can just retire. You don't have to live by anyone's face. The world is so big, with your strength, you can go anywhere. Hee, you are such a joke. If I can resign from a position like this, wouldn't those scum of the Tianlong people applaud? This can't be said casually, just pretend you didn't hear it. Garp returned to his original optimism. Dragon and Luffy stared at each other for a long time without saying anything. Finally, Luffy broke the silence. Mr. Dragon, it's too early for us to meet now. Now is not a good time. But Mr. Dragon can think about a few questions carefully. When we meet again in the future, we should have the answers. Who is the enemy of the Revolutionary Army? What is the revolutionary program of the Revolutionary Army? Is it really meaningful to only provoke disputes and uprisings between countries? If we only help the people to revolt and overthrow the original regime without a perfect social system and laws and regulations, will we repeat the same mistakes? After listening, Mr. Dragon's eyes lit up. You have such insights, why don't you join the Revolutionary Army? That's the biggest stage for you to display your talents. No, Mr. Dorag, I will only be an adventurer for freedom and justice. Luffy stopped Drago from continuing, and continued, but Mr. Drago can let your staff officer Sabo go to Alabaster. We will arrive there in the near future. He, I, and another brother are sworn brothers since childhood. There will definitely be surprises waiting for him there. Sabo, I see. Drago was thoughtful. Anyway, just don't become a pirate and do evil. Garp picked his nose and continued, Okay, I just came to see Smoker's situation, and happened to chat with my grandson for a few words. There's nothing else, that's it. So, the 3 generations of grandfather and grandson said goodbye to each other, and Luffy boarded the Golden Mary and headed for the Grand Line. On this day, the Straw Hat Adventure Group approached the sea area belonging to the Upside Down Mountain and was about to cross the Upside Down Mountain to reach the Grand Line. The world of One Piece is divided into 4 sea areas of the East, South, West and North by the Grand Line and the Red Earth Continent. The Red Earth Continent circles the Earth like the equator. The Grand Line is a ring-shaped ocean area that intersects the Red Earth Continent vertically. It is the most magical and dangerous route in the world of pirates. On both sides of it are dangerous doldrums. The geomagnetic, celestial, ocean currents, and air currents of the entire route are in chaos. It is difficult to even confirm your position, let alone find an island. Previous navigation technology and experience are unreliable. If you want to sail on the Grand Line, you must use a recording pointer or a permanent pointer. There are 2 ways for people in the 4 sea areas of the East, South, West and North to enter the Grand Line. 1. Choose to cross the doldrums. 2. Enter the Grand Line through the Upside Down Mountain. Since the doldrums not only have no air currents and ocean currents, but also those dangerous monsters, sea kings, ordinary ships cannot pass through, so the real intersection of the Grand Line is the Upside Down Mountain. There are 5 waterways on the Upside Down Mountain, shaped like a big character, with water flowing in 4 ways and out 1 way. The 4 oblique sides are waterways that flow in from the 4 seas. After converging at the top of the mountain, there is another horizontal waterway that flows out, and after going out, it is the Grand Line. Now, the Straw Hat Adventure Group is crossing the storm and has arrived at the entrance of the Upside Down Mountain, and is about to take the rising current to the top of the mountain. Is this the Upside Down Mountain? It's really spectacular, Usopp exclaimed. Looking at the endless red mountain, looking at the towering peaks blocked by clouds and mist, Luffy, Zoro and Akin are still calm, but the ups and downs of their hearts are not concealed at all, and they are shown on their faces. I went to the Grand Line from here once with the Click Pirates, but I ran back in disgrace in the end. Even if I see such a lofty mountain again, I still can't help but feel excited. Akin said. Okay, the sky is about to change, and the rising current to the top of the mountain is coming. Everyone, get ready, Nami said solemnly with her observation haki fully open. No problem, this is just an appetizer for us. Come on, everyone, declare your dreams again before reaching the top. Luffy said in the storm. I'll go first, my dream is to change the world. My dream is to become the world's #1 swordsman. I want to be the greatest sea sniper. I want to draw a complete world map. I want to find all blue. I want to see how big the world is. This is Agent. Then, go, ride the rising current, set sail, full rudder, Luffy said excitedly. So, the Golden Mary followed the rising current and rushed to the top of the upside-down mountain with an unstoppable momentum. What is different from the original is that everyone has strong strength and a certain degree of confidence, and this process is still calm. However, the whale Labu at the Twin Cape in front still opened its mouth wide, blocking the way that the Mary had to pass. Everyone, don't be afraid. Let's rush into the mouth of the big whale. Luffy tightened his hat. Luffy, are you sure you want to rush into the mouth of this big whale? Will there be any problem? Is this the right way? Nami was a little scared. No problem. This is the whale Labu. We can communicate with it. Luffy still had nothing to say. Then, the Golden Mary rushed into the big whale's mouth in shock. Entering the big whale's mouth, it was dark at first, and after walking hundreds of meters, it suddenly became clear. What came into view was a small pumice stone with a simple house built on it, and a beach chair next to it, on which sat an old man with a strange flower on his head. The old man was sitting on the chair fishing, slightly sideways, looking at the arrival of this group of uninvited guests with some surprise. Everyone was still marveling at the sudden mysterious scene, but Luffy stood on the deck, bowed to the old man, and said, Hello, Mr. Crocus, the doctor of the Pirate King Galdi. Roger and the night lighthouse keeper. Crocus raised his eyes and looked at Luffy. Hee, you actually know my identity, although I didn't hide it deliberately. Who are you? What are you doing here? We are the Straw Hat Adventure Group. I am Monkey D. Luffy, the captain of this ship. This hat was given to me by Mr. Shanks. I know you because I saw your photo in the Rogue Town Tavern. Although many years have passed, I can still clearly recognize that it is you, right? Luffy took out the photo and pointed. As expected, Shanks heard the name of Crocus became interesting. Oh, I see. Then what are you doing here? It's not to see me, an old man who is about to die, right? We are here to visit Labu. Labu has been hitting the Red Earth continent all these years, waiting for his old friend to return, right? Luffy treated this senior very politely. Labu. Crocus was very confused. The island whale Labu made a huge cry, and Zoro, Sanji, and Akin were about to start a fight, but Luffy hurried to stop them. Crocus saw this and hurriedly led everyone outside. Labu, Brook is still alive. He will come back to you in a few years. We are also your friends. Luffy shouted to the whale Labu, and he believed that Labu could understand. Sure enough, after hearing this, the whale Labu's hostility began to gradually dissipate, big tears fell from his eyes, and he dived back to the bottom of the sea with a long, woo, sound, which was considered to inform that he knew. Labo, we will come back to see you after we finish touring the world. This is a promise, Luffy shouted. He was sure that Brook was still alive and would definitely come back to make a promise with the whale Labo. In this way, with expectations, Labo should not lose control of his emotions. The old man was very surprised to see this scene, puzzled and a little moved. You are really a group of weird and interesting people. You are willing to do this for Labo. Whether it is Brook or you, maybe you can create miracles. Luffy smiled and looked back. You want to surpass Roger, right? Then, this is for you. Let's go. Crocus threw out the record pointer of Whiskey Island and sent Luffy and others to the port of Gemini Cape. Crocus silently wished in his heart, keep going, young people with dreams, the sea will remember everything. Successfully crossed the upside-down mountain and passed through the Gemini Cape. The Grand Line announced the arrival. The next destination, Whiskey Peak. At this moment, behind a hidden reef at Cape Twin, a girl with a blue ponytail and a man with a strange makeup on his face and a crown on his head were whispering and carefully avoiding each other. Am I seeing this right? That Straw Hat Adventure Group is the group that has become famous in the East China Sea during this period of time, right? They are not pirates, pirate hunters. The man with a strange makeup on his face and a crown on his head asked carefully. Yes, they are the Straw Hat Adventure Group that killed the Navy Monka, defeated the Buggy Pirates, killed Click, and caused a huge commotion in Rogue Town before entering the Grand Line. In short, there is almost no survivor of the pirates who are their enemies. But for some reason, this group of people does not have a bounty order issued by the Navy. The girl with a blue ponytail whispered. However, at this time, the Straw Hat Adventure Group was ready to go to sea, and Luffy and other crew members had already sensed the two sneaky people hiding behind the reef. Miss Wednesday, our mission is just to hunt the whale lab, so we should avoid provoking this group of people if we can. A man with strange makeup on his face and a crown on his head hid behind the reef and started to move. The blue ponytail girl called Miss Wednesday was thoughtful, but did not object to the man's words. After all, this group of people acted too strangely, very much like a group of powerful pirate hunters, but under the guise of upholding justice. The intelligence network of Baroque Works also showed that this group of people did not know the details, but they might be powerful. Almost every place they went caused a big event, and finally they were loved by people. At this moment, the conversation, breathing rhythm, physical strength and other indicators of this unlucky duo were all perceived by the Straw Hat Adventure Group. However, the unlucky duo still did not know that they were no different from naked and uncovered in the eyes of the Straw Hat Adventure Group. All members of the Straw Hat Adventure Group have awakened their observation haki, so their hiding is naturally exposed. Luffy sensed this, and the others also sensed that the unlucky duo hiding in the dark pose no threat. Even if their goal is really Labu, they can't deal with Labu. However, leaving it alone is also a problem. We can't let them disturb the peace of Master Crocus and Labu. Luffy's mouth corners slightly raised, grinning. Isn't this the early black history of Princess Vivi in the original work, Miss Wednesday form? Nami, Tiano stick, 10% of the lightning strike will slightly shock the unlucky duo hiding in the dark. Be careful not to kill them. Luffy grinned and said. I know. Nami curled her lips, thinking that she had to show mercy. So, the unlucky duo who were whispering behind the reef still didn't know what happened. They just felt the danger above their heads. When they looked up suddenly, a dark cloud formed above their heads, but it was too late. Am I, Miss Wednesday, what is this? The man with strange makeup on his face and a crown on his head asked incoherently. How do I know? Run, we've been discovered. Miss Wednesday wanted to run away, but a lightning bolt had already struck down. Mama, mama. The unlucky duo fell without any resistance. Luffy flashed in front of the unlucky duo, looked down at them, grinned and teased, Hey, where are these two spirited girls and spirited boys from? Are you here for a trip? Are you lost? The unlucky duo looked at the man in a straw hat who suddenly came with a confused and horrified look, and felt that the world was noisy, but it had nothing to do with them. Peacock Chainsaw. The blue ponytail girl called Miss Wednesday was the first to react and tried to distance herself. This is an attack where the little finger wears a peacock saw and then spins it out. There will be many peacock saws connected in a straight line, but Luffy didn't even dodge and directly held Miss Wednesday down. Such a trick is really not commendable. Since we have met by chance, come on board and accompany us. You want to go to Whiskey Peak, right? I'll take you there, Luffy said and pulled the unlucky duo on board without saying anything. We are going to Whiskey Peak too, so you lead the way. Luffy was in a playful mood. Yes, we are going to Whiskey Peak too. Miss Wednesday saw that the Straw Hat Adventure Group had fallen into the trap, and she didn't care about anything else. She swallowed all the words she had prepared and was immediately happy. Me after SS Wednesday and the man accompanied them, the Golden Mary officially set sail and headed for the Whiskey Mountain. Not long after, Miss Wednesday was about to make a small move, but was spotted by the sharp-eyed Nami, who directly held her back. Girls, don't be so irritable. What kind of lady is it to fight and kill? Nami looked at this spirited little sister with a comfortable face. Are you trying to say that the ocean currents, climate, geomagnetism, and celestial phenomena on the Grand Line are unpredictable, so it is easy to have problems? Don't worry, I am a navigator in the Straw Hat Adventure Group. We are all strong enough to deal with various sudden climate and celestial phenomena. This little storm, hail, and lightning are not a problem for us. Miss Wednesday wanted to say something but stopped, and finally gave up. This weird team is completely inconsistent with the content of the intelligence. After returning, I will find the intelligence personnel of Baroque Works to have a good theory. Unlike the original novel, the Golden Mary sailed through the wind and waves all the way, and this change in the celestial phenomena was of no concern at all. No matter what the celestial phenomena changed, they continued to move quickly towards Whiskey Mountain without any pressure. The Straw Hat Adventurers, along with Miss Wednesday and his servant, the two unlucky duo, finally arrived at Whiskey Peak after passing through various storms and meteorological disasters. Similar to the original work, although no one in the Straw Hat Adventurers had a bounty, they were still warmly welcomed by the so-called mayor at the port of Whiskey Peak. They probably used this method to trap the various pirate groups that came here, but with the strength of the Straw Hat Adventurers, they just thought they were noisy. Even if the disguise is perfect, the malice is almost overflowing. Do these guys think we are all fools? Sanji smoked a cigarette and stood on the deck, a little disdainful. Don't worry, have fun on this island, I guess something very interesting will happen. Luffy laughed and showed a mysterious smile. He accepted the request of the curly mayor to welcome them, but he ran straight to the fruit shop. Boss, I want some of all kinds of fruits, Luffy said with a smile. Okay, please take a break, I'll load the goods now. Seeing a big customer coming, the fruit shop owner immediately received Luffy with a smile. After buying all kinds of fruits, Luffy showed a mysterious smile, found a deserted place, and put the fruits into the system space. Anyway, it has been tried that the items put into the system space will not deteriorate. Nami ran to record the permanent pointer, record the geomagnetism, and draw a map. Zoro, Sanji, and Ajin sat around a wine table, chatting with the diners in the store. Usopp stayed on the boat to watch the boat and maintain the gunpowder he had recently obtained. Soon, night fell. Zoro, Sanji, and Ajin pretended to be drunk, but actually used domineering to avoid the influence of alcohol and fell asleep on the side of the road. Oscar winner is online. At this moment, Miss Wednesday and the servant, the unlucky duo, were writing a report on Baroque work and social relations in a wooden house. They still believed that they had tricked the Straw Hat Adventurers into the Whiskey Peak and planned to catch them all. However, it was not certain who was the hunter and who was the prey. After completing the report, the unlucky duo reunited with the mayor. It turned out that they wanted to rob Luffy and his group. They were really ignorant and fearless. Just as they were gathering their forces, Zoro, Sanji and Ajin had quietly sneaked into their blind spot and had a full view of their actions from a high place. Mr. Zoro, are we going to act now? Ajin had already put on brass knuckles. Wait a minute, wait until everyone is together. Zoro showed a mouthful of cold white teeth. So, the three of them waited for the 200 or so people to gather with guns and sticks, and when they were about to shout and start the action, Zoro stood on a high place and asked condescendingly. Are you all ready? The people were frightened and fired randomly. Who's there? Well, 250 people, all bounty hunters from Baroque Works. How about it? Half for each, Sanji asked Ajin. Since you know our secret, you will all die here. The curly-haired mayor was still shouting foolishly, and the members of the Baroque Works actually responded loudly. Zoro glanced at the curly-haired mayor with a look of stupidity, and directly pushed Sanji and Ajin away. Get out of the way, I'll do it. Hey, Deputy Captain, at least leave us some shrimp soldiers and crab generals to vent. Asterisk 2 inches. Seeing this, the two had already put away their fighting spirit. Zoro took a step forward, and without thinking twice, he immediately released a terrifying domineering aura, indiscriminately shocking all the enemies except Sanji and Jin, making them foam at the mouth and unconscious. It seems that Zoro has already started, so let's go over there quickly. Luffy sensed this from a distance, put on his hat and disappeared in a flash. Jin then glanced at the objects on the cactus next to him. Hey, these are not thorns, they are clearly tombstones of pirates. Think we are pirates and want to kill us to win credit for your boss. Jin has already revealed a creepy murderous intent. Zoro flashed to the fallen curly-haired mayor, calmly picked up a small knife scattered on the ground, and put it on his neck. Okay, now there are no flies buzzing. Unfortunately, I can't find a knife smaller than this one. So, what do you say? Don't try to play dead. I deliberately controlled my domineering when I released it, so that you wouldn't faint like them. Tell me. At this moment, Sanji and Akin also gathered around. Luffy and Nami also walked out of the dark, and Usopp left the Golden Mary, found a high hiding point, and set up a sniper rifle. To deal with this mob, of course, the Straw Hat Pirates don't need to act like this. No matter what kind of conspiracy or tricks they have, it's meaningless in the face of absolute strength. Outside the crowd, Miss Wednesday and her servants also woke up slowly, looking at everything happening around them with fear, unable to react to what happened. They just felt sore and weak all over, and it was difficult to even get up. Mayor Curly saw that Miss Wednesday had woken up, and shouted at the top of his lungs, "Run! Vivi, don't worry about us." But Luffy would not do as he wished, and he flashed directly in front of Miss Wednesday. "Don't struggle, there's no point, you are too weak. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't call you Miss Wednesday, Miss Nefertari Vivi. Miss Wednesday, oh no, it should be Vivi," who was almost crying at this time, but it was useless. "That's right, she's not Miss Wednesday, she's Princess Vivi of Alabasta." A voice came from a distance, "We're here to kill Princess Vivi and the others. Since you know this, then die with them." The visitors were naturally Miss Valentine, who had eaten the light float fruit, and Miss Friday, who had eaten the bomb fruit. "Are you sick? What does this have to do with us?" Nami was a little angry. Miss Valentine was about to speak, but a bullet came from a distance at high speed and pierced her forehead. Before the battle started, she was shot dead. "Since you are ready to kill, you are also aware of death." Usopp calmly put away his gun from a high place. What's going on? These monsters. Miss Friday was sweating profusely and couldn't understand the current situation. "No need to show mercy," Luffy ordered. Ajin rushed out immediately, and a deliberate punch hit Miss Friday's chest so hard that it sank. Captain Luffy gave this move a name. It tastes pretty good, right? Oh, it's a pity that you can't hear it anymore. Be careful in your next life. Ajin turned around calmly. Ding, the devil fruit power has been detected and has been collected. Congratulations to the host for automatically harvesting the bomb fruit and light fruit. The system's voice sounded in Luffy's mind. Chapter 31. Luffy was delighted when he saw the two ordinary fruits slowly changing into bomb fruit and light float fruit in the system space. Bomb fruit can turn any object it touches into a bomb that will explode. If it is well developed, it will be a good combat force. Light float fruit can change the weight of an object, making it lighter, which is a bit tasteless and a pity to throw away. But it is also a devil fruit after all. Vivi watched Mr. Friday and Miss Valentine being ruthlessly crushed to death, and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. Mayor Curly was lying on the ground, swallowing hard. What kind of monster did they provoke? Senior executives of Baroque Works, killed them just like that. Aren't they worried about crazy revenge at all? After Luffy and his group solved Miss Friday and Miss Valentine, they turned around and walked towards Princess Vivi. "Who are you? What do you want to do? Don't touch her. Come at me if you dare." The curly-haired mayor saw this scene and hurriedly got up and shouted. "Okay, don't be nervous. Can't you see it? We are not enemies. If we were, you would have died long ago," Nami said helplessly. "No, not enemies." The curly-haired mayor was confused. Luffy stepped forward to help Princess Vivi up, showing a harmless, iconic smile, and said, "Okay, it's okay, aren't you going to say something?" Princess Vivi. I am the princess of the Kingdom of Alabasta, Nefertari Vivi, currently lurking in Baroque Works, codenamed Miss Wednesday. And the curly-haired mayor over there is Ikaram, the captain of the Kingdom Guard, who is also lurking in Baroque Works with me. The one lying next to me is my valet. Nefertari Vivi replied timidly. "I'm Monkey D. Luffy, an adventurer. They are the crew members of my Straw Hat Adventure group, and I'm the captain." Luffy kept smiling. "No, are you really not pirates? Aren't you bounty hunters? Don't you plan to kill us?" Vivi's eyes lit up when she heard it. What, is she actually a princess? Why does she look like a spirited little girl? Sanji sighed after realizing it, and his beauty radar had never been activated. What a waste. I dressed like this to be an undercover agent in Baroque Works. Nami gave Sanji a slap. Vivi also put down her ponytail at this time. This is me, my original appearance. Sanji was shocked when he saw this. My goodness, your hairstyle has sealed your appearance. Is it so outrageous? Are you sure it's the same person? Sanji immediately stepped forward to show his courtesy. My goodness, his true colors are exposed. Vivi felt a little uncomfortable when she saw this. Is this the same group of people who just crushed Baroque Works? Is this the same group of people who just killed everyone? Vivi was a little stunned, but this scene invisibly diluted the sense of order among everyone, and they felt more intimate with each other. What on earth are you doing here? Princess Vivi, who became more cute, asked. Luffy answered while arguing with everyone, we just entered the Grand Line. Didn't we accidentally run into you and then come here to travel? We also helped you solve the trouble from Baroque Works. Vivi was stunned, and Luffy continued. Oh, by the way, your undercover identity is no longer useful. Crocodile must know it. Look, people have been sent to hunt you down. Indeed, it seems that we have nowhere to go. Vivi said disappointedly. Wait, you just said that there is nowhere to go. Aren't you a princess? You must know that in Alabasta, the whole world belongs to the king. How can you, a princess, have nowhere to go? Akin asked. Luffy certainly wouldn't interrupt their conversation at this time. Even if he knew the plot in the original book, he couldn't do anything wrong. Not to mention exposing that he knew the future, it was hard to judge what kind of inestimable impact it would cause. Because a few years ago, a social organization called Baroque Works suddenly appeared among the people. They have too much influence and now control the lifeline of the whole country. It's hard for me, a princess, to do anything. Vivi was a little sad. Baroque Works, the Baroque Works of Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Zoro asked in surprise. Well, Baroque Works seemed normal a few years ago. It was just doing some ordinary business activities in Alabasta, and the kingdom didn't care. But later, we found that this organization not only gradually controlled the economic lifeline of the whole country, but also gradually controlled the economic lifeline of the whole country, and also instigated various civil forces to initiate disputes. Later, this association even controlled the civil unrest that broke out among the domestic anti-government forces. Now the ruling status of the Alabasta kingdom is in jeopardy. At first, we didn't know that the boss behind the Baroque Works was Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. When we reacted and wanted to stop him, we were powerless. Crocodile wanted to overthrow the kingdom's regime. And we wanted to do our best to prevent the worst from happening, so we disguised ourselves and lurked in the Baroque Works. Vivi told everything. After listening, the partners were a little silent, and they didn't know whether they should care about this matter. After all, it had nothing to do with them. Vivi suddenly knelt down and begged with a prostration. Since you are not pirates, can I ask you to help me save this country? Quote. Vivi didn't know why she would use this method to beg a group of strangers to help her save a country and intervene in a country's political power struggle, but she still chose to do it. Princess Ikaram, the captain of the Kingdom Guard, choked up. If he and others were more useful, why would it be so? Luffy suddenly stepped forward and pulled Vivi up. No matter how tearful Vivi was, he shouted directly, don't kneel. Vivi, no matter when, no matter what the situation, no one is worth your kneeling. You must have your own backbone. No one is worth kneeling to get things done. Vivi was very shocked, but didn't know what to say. Luffy continued. Even if you don't say it, our future stop will definitely be Alabasta. We have accepted your commission. Friends, do you have the confidence to deal with a Shichibukai? The people around him smiled slightly. Since the captain has said so, what can we crew members refuse? Isn't it just a Shichibukai? Just beat him up. Vivi looked at the scene in front of her in shock. Since it's a commission, is there a bounty? Nami instantly became interested. 100 million. I am willing to represent my country and pay 100 million Baileys to hire you to save my country. Vivi shouted. Don't be so anxious. According to the current situation, Crocodile is not ready to implement the battle plan. Before that, Vivi, you should go with us and then go to Alabasta to beat Crocodile up. Luffy said. Well, Ikaram, you and the valet go back to Alabasta to continue lurking and collecting intelligence. Vivi choked. Wait, Ikaram, don't leave in a hurry. Zoro's eyes flashed red and blocked his way. Since you are here, please show up for a while. What an interesting scene. A queen voice came, I hope I didn't disturb you. Quote. Ikulem saw her and exclaimed, Miss Sunday, Vice President of Baroque Workshop. What an interesting scene. A queen's voice came, I didn't disturb you. Ikulem saw her and exclaimed, Miss Sunday, the Vice President of Baroque Works. He immediately felt like he was facing a great enemy. Oh, the Vice President of Baroque Works. Enemy. Zoro's hand had already touched the knife, making a gesture of drawing the knife to cut. Oh, this guy is really murderous, I don't mean to be your enemy. The mysterious Miss Sunday hurriedly retreated, she didn't want to be killed directly. Luffy pressed Zoro's shoulder and signaled him to stay calm. That's right, this lady is not our enemy, and will not become our enemy. Am I right? Seeing is believing, Miss Nico Robin. Luffy said with a smile. However, she could no longer remain calm when she heard the name Nicole Robin. She frowned and said, You actually know my real name. What is your purpose? Luffy spread his hands and said, No purpose, I just want to tell you that Baroque Works is not your place. They have never regarded you as a partner, and you have never regarded them as a partner. You can't stay in Baroque Works. Nicole Robin frowned even more when she heard this. What does this have to do with you? Who are you? I am Monkey D. Luffy, nice to meet you. Luffy smiled. D. God's natural enemy clan. Nicole Robin sighed. At this time, the companions asked, Luffy, why do you say that? Who is this woman? Luffy said, her name is Nico Robin. Miss Sunday is of course not her real name. Vivi, her origin is greater than you, the princess. She is a survivor of O'Hara, perhaps the only survivor. The world government calls her Devil's Child and they are crazy about bounty hunting, and want to get rid of her as soon as possible. Quote. She is actually a survivor of O'Hara. The Devil's Child who should have been wiped out. Vivi looked shocked. Ah, but she is not scary, nor is she a vicious person. Luffy said with a smile. You really know everything about me. Nico Robin looked at Luffy with interest. How about it? If you can't stay in Baroque Works, do you want to come to our team? Luffy looked harmless. Don't make decisions rashly. Nami was crazy. Luffy just gave a reassuring look behind him. Join you. Since you said that neither Baroque Works nor I regard each other as partners, why do you think that I will regard you as partners if I join you? Nico Robin asked excitedly. Won't you know this question when you come here? Luffy chuckled. Haha, what an interesting guy. Then, I won't continue to talk nonsense with you. The purpose of my coming here is just to give you this. The purpose is achieved, and I should leave. Nico Robin threw out the permanent pointer of Alabasta and turned away. You guy, don't suddenly make strange invitations to strange people. Nami was a little crazy. Don't worry, it's okay. Nico Robin will not leave Baroque Works for the time being. After all, she has nowhere to go. Luffy smiled mysteriously. Luffy put away the permanent pointer of Alabasta and was about to decide the destination of the next stop when an angry voice came. It's you. Did you kill Miss Friday and Miss Valentine? Come on. Hey, Sango. It seems that because he and others killed Miss Friday, the bomber and Miss Valentine, their life cards were burned out, and the original plot has changed a lot. Even the new Miss Wednesday was directly sent out to hunt them down. Thank God for the gift. Vivi was a little nervous. Luffy gave her a reassuring look, put his arm around her shoulders, protected her behind him, and turned to Sanji and said, Sanji, this fight is up to you. He is a candle man who ate that wax fruit. He is not strong, but quite weak. Make a quick decision. Be careful to save your life at the end. Me, weak? How dare you say I'm weak? I'm one of the strongest and highest executives of Baroque Works, Galdino. Miss Wednesday went crazy when she heard this. Melt, sculpture, sword. Miss Wednesday aimed at Sanji and attacked. I don't have the time to mess with you. Devil wind kick, rough. Sanji wrapped himself in armament hockey and kicked the sword Miss Wednesday made with her fruit ability. Sword, and others were kicked away along with him. How dare you look down on me? Candle champion. Miss Wednesday covered her whole body with wax to form a candle armor, which looked like a huge machine. This has the power to defeat a wanted criminal worth 42 million Baileys. It is my Mr. Three's most outstanding work of art. Miss Wednesday was in a mess, and she climbed up with blood on her mouth and feet and shouted. Tisk, you actually fell down, and you wrapped your whole body with wax when you were knocked away to avoid damage. Sanji scratched his hair in annoyance, then. Memories of hell. Sanji kicked the candle man again and knocked him out without waiting for Miss Wednesday to finish bragging. No, impossible, how can he be so strong? The candle man lay on the ground and doubted his life. This is wax harder than steel. Luffy didn't care about Miss Wednesday's hysteria. Seeing that he hadn't lost consciousness yet, he used a limited domineering color to make him foam at the mouth and faint. Although the fruit ability of this third brother in the original work helped the protagonists to a certain extent, they are now enemies in reality. Besides, this fruit is a bit wasted on him. You must know what categories Momo fruit has developed into. This fruit is similar to the Momo fruit. Both are special superhuman systems. The wax fruit may be stronger than the Momo fruit in the setting, so Luffy naturally can't let it go. System, the fruit ability user has completely lost consciousness. Can the fruit ability be obtained? Luffy asked in his mind. Wait a minute, congratulations to the host for harvesting that wax fruit. The system responded in his mind. As for the third brother, he has a good impression in the original work, and he is not a treacherous and evil person, so let's spare his life. Luffy turned and left. Then, my friends, the next stop is the Drum Kingdom. Get ready to go, Luffy said excitedly. Wait, Drum Kingdom? Why Drum Kingdom? Isn't it on this route? Nami expressed confusion. Although it's not on the same route, it's not far away. I believe that with your strength, you won't get lost. Besides, go to Drum Kingdom, where we have the crew we are looking for. After that, return to the small garden. Luffy said. There are the crew we need. Who are they? Usopp became interested. It's a reindeer that can talk and heal diseases. Luffy smiled mysteriously. There are such magical creatures. Akin exclaimed. Then, let's go. Drum Kingdom. Oh, so, Vivi also followed the ship and followed the Straw Hat Pirates to the Drum Kingdom. After a long journey of several days, the Straw Hat adventurers finally arrived at the Drum Kingdom, a magnificent winter island. The Drum Kingdom is a middle-aged and cold island. The white snow seems to cover all life. The endless ice and snow for thousands of years have turned the island into a silver-clad world, and the biting cold has even spread to the vast sea nearby. Because the center of the island is distributed with towering peaks shaped like musical instruments, drums, it is named Drum Island. Speaking of which, the Straw Hat adventurers did not encounter the Walpo attack of the White Iron Pirates on the way to the Drum Kingdom this time. Now it seems that although the world line has been changed, the convergence of the world will still be reflected to a certain extent. But it doesn't matter. If they didn't run into Valpo at sea, Luffy would never let Valpo go when he makes a comeback. After all, who could let a super powerful fruit swallow fruit that was seriously underestimated in the original work beyond an unforgivable scum? He also developed this fruit into a waste. The Straw Hat adventurers prepared winter clothes to resist the severe cold and prepared to anchor the Golden Mary at the port, but they encountered obstacles just like in the original work. Outsiders, your journey ends here. You are not welcome here. Now, go back to where you came from. A man in thick cotton clothes led a large group of people holding various weapons, standing on both sides of the port in the snow-covered world, intending to prevent the Straw Hat adventurers from landing. What, with this posture, are you going to fight? Zoro was a little unhappy. Luffy waved his hand and bowed politely. Hello, Mr. Dalton, the captain of the Kingdom of Drums. I am Monkey D. Luffy, and they are my partners. We are not here to harm this country, but to visit Ms. Dr. Kuleha. Please give us a favor. We are not pirates. After hearing this, Dalton, the captain of the Kingdom, who was wearing a heavy cotton coat and holding a weapon, shouted loudly, You are not pirates. Why should I believe you? And you actually said you want to visit Dr. Kuleha, the witch. Who are you? This country has just experienced the destruction of the Blackbeard pirates not long ago, and now there is nothing in it. Blackbeard pirates. Nami heard this word and asked Luffy in a low voice. The Blackbeard Pirates are a notorious pirate group led by Marshal D. Teach. His predecessor was one of the subordinate forces of the Whitebeard Pirates led by Edward Newgate, one of the 4 sea emperors in the New World. It was just that some time ago, Marshal D. Teach led his people to rebel against the Whitebeard Pirates. After that, they burned, killed, looted, and committed all kinds of evil on this sea. Luffy briefly introduced this group of notorious people. We feel very sorry that your country has suffered a great disaster. If we can provide some help within our capacity, we will definitely do our best. Mr. Dalton, we are not pirates. If possible, please treat us as the justice partners of the Navy. Luffy said politely again. Navy. Is the Navy here? We are a member of the world government. There was a commotion in the crowd. At this point, Dalton naturally could not use guns to confront the Straw Hat Pirates. If they were really related to the Navy, or were really the Navy, then the Drum Kingdom could not bear the blow of breaking up with the world government. In that case, then follow me. Dalton ordered everyone to lay down their weapons, and then took the Straw Hat Pirates to his place and hosted a banquet for everyone. The Straw Hat Pirates left Zoro to guard the ship on the Golden Mary, and sat around the fire with Dalton, talking to each other. Luffy asked at the right time, I think this country seems to be dead, what happened? Dalton said, well, this matter has to start from a long time ago. You can see that the island is now in a state of panic and no outsiders are welcome. It is because of the attack of the Blackbeard Pirates some time ago, which made the country's already bad economy even worse. There are several towns distributed on the island, such as Cocoawit, which was destroyed by the Blackbeard Pirates, the town Robaru, and the northern lakeside town Kesda, where Dr. Kuleha originally lived. These towns are the main residences of the people on the island. The king, who symbolizes the ruler of a country, lives in a huge castle on the top of the highest mountain, the Drum Mountain. In the snowfields and forests outside the human territory, it has become the world of animals. Here, the cruel weather and harsh environment have created the extremely ferocious vitality of the beasts. As one of the member states of the world government, this place was originally a medical powerhouse famous in the Grand Line. But about 20 years ago, the Drum Kingdom maintained peace and stability under the diligent governance of the former king and ministers. But the former king's doting on the youngest prince, Wapol, made the young prince more and more willful. I, the captain of the kingdom's army at the time, was vaguely worried. But what no one knew was that an evil seed was quietly sprouting and would bring great disaster to the kingdom. After the death of the former king, Wapol succeeded to the throne as the new king of the Drum Kingdom. With the assistance of the cold-blooded Staff Pawn, the already unethical official Himorimo and others, he began a brutal and dark rule. Every day they think about formulating new tyranny to oppress the people of the kingdom. Among them, the most notorious tyranny is the Dr. 20 plan. In order to satisfy his own selfish desires, Wapol selected 20 of the best and most obedient doctors from the kingdom, and exiled or killed all the other doctors. This made Dr. 20 the only medical resource in the kingdom, and it only served the king. When ordinary people wanted to seek medical treatment, they had to kneel down and beg the king for mercy. Those faces begging bitterly were Wapol's source of fun. This cruel Dr. 20 plan led to the decline of the reputation of the Drum Kingdom as a medical power. If nothing unexpected happens, the Drum Kingdom will fall into a colder abyss under Wapol's rule. However, the fate of the kingdom was changed by a group of uninvited guests. Not long ago, the great pirate Marshal D. Teach led his people to attack the Drum Kingdom. In the face of the overwhelming strength of Blackbeard, the fool Wapol chose to flee. He abandoned the unarmed people, took the kingdom's army, fled to the sea, and established the White Iron Pirates. The Drum Kingdom was destroyed just like that. But the people applauded, because the fall of the castle flag also meant the end of Wapol's tyranny. But the fate of this country is far from over. Wapol, as the king, deserted the battlefield, which made me completely angry. I made up my mind to defend this country with my own strength in the future. If Wapol dares to return to Drum Island again, I must drive him out with my own hands. Quote. Dalton told the past kingdom's sorrow in the end, and was indignant and excited at the end. When I was a child, I also saw Wapol once in the world memory. That fool beat me without saying anything. He also had a dispute with my father, King Cobra. Vivi said at this time. Luffy and others were indignant after hearing this, then what do you need us to do? If necessary, if Wapol dares to come back, we think we will help you to give it a just judgment. Dalton sighed and said after hearing this, with your promise, we are satisfied. Aren't you going to visit Dr. Kuleha? She lives in seclusion on that magnetic drum mountain. Quote, hey, Luffy, are you sure this is the way? It's really cold. Sanji was wearing a thick cotton coat and groping forward in the blizzard, shivering with cold. That's right, the highest drum mountain. We'll reach the foot of the mountain after passing through this blizzard. Nami looked at the map, and the severe cold made her hands and feet cold. Hurry up, I don't want to freeze into an ice stick in the blizzard. Hurry to a house that can keep out the cold. Usopp was also shivering with cold. Akin endured the cold and didn't say anything, but just quickened his pace. In this way, except for Zoro who stayed behind to watch the ship, Luffy, Nami, Usopp, and Akin went forward along the snowy road, knocking down all the beasts they met on the way, but they didn't kill them all. Among them was the familiar beast rabbit in the original book, Labang. Everyone went forward in the blizzard and finally came to the foot of the towering drum mountain. Luffy looked up and said, everyone, if we want to find a mountain path and climb up slowly, it will take a lot of time, and it will be late at night when we reach the top. My suggestion is to use the moon step to quickly reach the top. After all, everyone is now proficient in using the moon step. What do you think? Of course, we must use the moon step. Everyone agreed. So, Luffy and his 4 companions used the moon step one after another, and soon they arrived in front of the castle on the top of the drum mountain. Wow, Luffy, look, this reindeer can move things. As soon as Usopp arrived, he was surprised by the wonders here. Luffy smiled slightly. Don't look so unsophisticated. The simple Tony Chopper had never seen such a scene before. He was frightened by the strange voices and laughter, and ran into the castle and hid. Luffy said loudly to the castle, Ms. Dr. Kuleha, we have a guest. Please give us a favor. The castle gate suddenly opened, and a slightly mysterious voice came from inside, come in and talk. Luffy and his 4 companions filed in and saw an old lady dressed quite fashionably sitting on a chair, drinking a little wine, with a blazing fire next to her. She looked particularly leisurely and comfortable. Hello, Ms. Dr. Kuleha, I'm sorry to have disturbed your family just now. I am Monkey D. Luffy, and I came to visit you with my friends. This is the aged wine from Windmill Village, please accept it. Luffy bent down nearly 90 degrees. He should show due respect to this senior. He had prepared the aged wine a long time ago. If he wanted to visit this person, he naturally had to cater to her preferences. Oh, you are thoughtful. D, here comes another D. What do you want from me? Dr. Kuleha didn't care about their disturbance, and naturally accepted the wine and went straight to the point. Dr. Kuleha, we have 2 purposes here. One is to find an excellent ship doctor to join us. Luffy replied, and then he looked at Tony Chopper who was hiding in the corner. He hid half of his body, but his head was quietly watching the strange visitors. Ha ha ha, Chopper, you actually want a reindeer to join, who are you, pirates? Dr. Kuleha said with a smile, as if he didn't care about what they mentioned, and tapped the newspaper in Rogue Town with his fingers. The newspaper was about the commotion caused by the Straw Hat Pirates in Rogue Town, but the strange thing was that there was no bounty order for this group of people. Chopper, he is very cute, isn't he? Luffy also said with a smile. I won't be happy just because you said I'm cute. Chopper said in a classic way. How about joining our adventure group? It's fun to go out to sea for adventure. Luffy persuaded her like a weird uncle who kidnapped a child. I don't want to. Chopper hid back. Adventure group? Dr. Kuleha asked in confusion. Luffy introduced. Yes, we go out to sea as an adventure group, fighting only for the people of justice and kindness. I will go to see this world and get my own answer. The Navy is not truly just, and pirates are not all evil. The current path of the Revolutionary Army is not feasible. I will be just and kind, and strengthen my own power. One day in the future, I will wake up the people of the world. Ha ha ha, it seems that the will of the D family has not died. Adventure group, is this the way you came up with to distinguish yourself from the evil pirates? Ms. Kuleha showed interest. Then, what else? This is about the second purpose of my coming to you, Dr. Ms. Kuleha, do you know what the will of D is? Luffy asked solemnly. The companions pricked up their ears and listened carefully. Ha ha ha, kid, since you have such a strong belief in will, you have already had your own interpretation of will of D, right? Why bother about what D is? Tell me what you think. Ms. Kuleha said while tasting the aged wine. First of all, Ms. Kuleha, my devil fruit is the animal mythical beast human fruit Nika form. Ms. Kuleha, you should know who was the last awakener of this fruit. Luffy revealed the real name of his fruit for the first time in front of everyone. Nika, Joy Boy, you kid are really bold. Aren't you afraid that the world government will want to get rid of you as soon as possible? Ms. Kuleha called. Haha, I eat the rubber fruit, what does it have to do with the Nika fruit? Luffy pouted. Good boy, you are really smart. Ms. Kuleha became interested, and everyone was just shocked. Back to the point, in my eyes, D is decentralization, D is a dream, D is dawn, D is millions of people laughing under the same sky. Luffy said firmly. Ha ha ha, interesting, since you already have such an opinion, why ask me again? DS will survives. D is not in the deepest part of your story, but in everyone's will. As long as there is will, everyone can beat D. Dr. Kuleha laughed heartily. Everyone can beat D. Sanji, Nami, Kin, and Usopp were all shocked when they heard this. Although Chopper could understand every word they said, he couldn't understand them all together. He looked at everyone in confusion, not knowing what they were talking about. Nami stepped forward and rubbed Chopper's furry head, exclaiming, so soft. So cute. Chopper jumped up in shock. What do you want to do? You can heal diseases, right? That's interesting. How about it? Are you interested? Do you want to join our adventure group to go out to sea? It's more interesting than being a pirate. Nami also began to persuade him. Chopper's eyes lit up, but he was a little suspicious. Really? You are not lying to me. Is it really more interesting than being a pirate? Yeah, of course it's true. Usopp also nodded on the side. Akin. Chopper touched Nami lightly, and then immediately took his hand back. Is this the touch of a real adventurer? Nami raised the corner of her mouth. Of course, this can't be fake. Dr. Kuleha said at this time, are you interested in Chopper? He is a miserable man. Mr. Miserable Man, Akin asked doubtfully. Then, Ms. Dr. Kuleha began to tell the story. I started to take in Chopper about 5 years ago. You must have heard that on the night of the full moon, the witch Kuleha would ride a strange monster down the mountain to look for food, haha. That was him, Tony Chopper. 5 years ago, I started to bring Chopper from the quack Dr. Hilaric. For 5 years, I have been teaching him my medical skills. Although Hilaric was a quack, he was Chopper's savior. But in the end, Hilaric drove Chopper away, drank the poisonous soup made from the Amida mushroom, and died calmly. Before leaving, Hilaric gave me a small packet of the so-called panacea, hoping that I could make the cherry blossoms bloom for him, and entrusted Chopper to me, and asked me to teach Chopper medical skills. Hilaric, who drank the poisonous soup, ran to the town to complete the last big thing. At that time, the magnetic drum, the kingdom is in turmoil. News came from the palace that Dr. 20 fell ill, and the only way to seek medical treatment was gone, and the people fell into panic. The idiot Harulik held a bomb and threatened the soldiers to let him climb the castle. But when he arrived at the castle, he was greeted by a large number of soldiers. Dr. 20 was safe and sound. This was simply a trap set by Wapol to attract the idiot to die. He finally ignited the explosives and died calmly in front of the palace castle. Only Chopper was left. After this, Chopper was equivalent to having no family. Can you heal his spiritual trauma? Can you guarantee that you will protect him? Can you guarantee that you will never discriminate against him because he is a deer? If you want to know more about Chopper, ask him yourself. I can't say more. Quote. Luffy stared at the poor reindeer and remembered the plot in the original book. He thought Chopper was worth it. He wanted to help Chopper and change his fate. So, Luffy repeated his old trick and came to Chopper. Chopper, do you want to change your fate? Do you want to avenge Harulik with your own hands? Do you want to defeat Wapol with your own hands and fulfill Harulik's wish? I can help you. My devil fruit can speed up your training and let you quickly master the moves to defeat the enemy. Do you want to try? Can I really do it? But I'm a monster. Chopper's eyes lit up for a moment, but then dimmed immediately. Yes, you can. You are very strong. You just don't have faith. Just a little bit, just a little bit. With my help, you can definitely defeat stronger enemies. You can definitely fulfill Haruluk's wish. Chopper, you deserve it. Luffy said firmly. The Nika fruit actually has this ability. It seems that I am still ignorant, it's amazing. Dr. Kuleha sighed while sipping the wine. Then, let's try it. I want to become stronger, I want to defeat Wapol. I must fulfill Haruluk's wish. Chopper clenched his hands. Ding, consume 1000 transformation points, increase the training speed of Navy 6 styles armament hockey and observation hockey by 100 times for Tony Chopper for 1 year. There are 40,000 transformation points left. The system's voice sounded in his mind. Chopper only felt a warm current pouring into his body, making him feel strong and comfortable. Name, Tony Chopper. Observation hockey, unknown awakened. Armament hockey, not awakened. Physical techniques, iron block, not started. Shaving, not started. Paper drawing, not started. Moon step, not started. Storm kick, not started. Finger gun, not started. Instant step, not started. Bang Quan, not started. Devil fruit, animal type human fruit incomplete. Incomplete. What is the matter with Chopper's fruit ability? Luffy scratched his head, a little confused, but the most urgent task now is to strengthen Chopper, so that he can at least improve his combat power to defeat Wapol in a short period of time. Chopper, in order for you to successfully fulfill Haruluk's wish, I will teach you another move, which is called King's Fist. This move is extremely powerful. When the power is fully charged, it can kill Wapol in one blow, but this requires the cover of a partner. However, don't worry, we will definitely be by your side. Tony Chopper's eyes lit up after hearing this. Really? Really? Well, in the next period of time, let's work hard together. Luffy persuaded. So under Chopper's hard training, 2 days passed, and Wapol finally arrived late. Wapol, attack. Now Chopper's panel is. Name, Tony Chopper. Observation hockey. Not awakened. Although it was accelerated 100 times, 2 days is not enough for Chopper to awaken the two-color hockey directly. After all, Chopper's foundation is too weak. But Chopper's physical skills have improved to a certain extent. Armament hockey. Not awakened. Physical skills. Iron block. Beginner 25%. Shave. Beginner 17%. Paper drawing. Beginner 8%. Moon step. Beginner 6%. Storm kick. Beginner 15%. Finger gun, beginner 15%, instant step, beginner 10%, collapse punch, beginner 27%. Devil fruit, animal type human fruit incomplete. At this moment, the evil pirate King Wapol has made a comeback, climbed to the top of the Drum Mountain, and shouted at the gate of the castle. Dalton, the captain of the Kingdom Army, has also arrived. Kuleha, old woman, get out of my castle with your monsters. Also, you dare to plant the flag of another pirate group on my castle, I must destroy it. Wapol barked at the gate of the Drum Castle, looked up and saw the flag of the Sakura Pirates on the top of the castle, and wanted to shoot it down. You guys who don't respect life can't damage this flag, Luffy said coldly. Luffy dodged and picked up the flag of the Sakura Pirates on the top of the castle, and folded it carefully to make it spotless. You, who are you? How dare you ruin my good deeds? Wapol was still barking. Luffy didn't even want to say a word to him, and sat down by himself. Watch you go to hell. At this time, Sanji, Nami, Akin, Usopp, and Vivi also came out of the castle and blocked the castle gate, blocking this way. Ha ha ha, monster, do you think you can deal with me just by finding helpers? This country belongs to me. No one else is qualified to rule this country except me. Wapol glimpsed Tony Chopper, who came out of the castle with his sharp eyes, barking. Chopper cried and said, "It's you. It's because of you that this country has become what it is now. You have to pay for Haruluk's life." Haruluk, oh, that quack, I remember, you came here the night Haruluk was blown to death. Are you ready to go to hell with him now? Ha ha ha, Wapol shouted disgustingly. No point in talking. Watch out. Blast. Chopper wiped away his tears, transformed into a large form, and dodged directly to hit Wapol's face fiercely. Wapol was directly knocked away. and Dr. Kuleha looked at this scene in surprise, thinking that Chopper had changed so much in such a short time. But, how dare you? How dare you disobey me? I must eat you. Wapol got up from the ground. At this time, Dalton next to him said, leave the rest of Black Morimo and Wapol's fool's men to me. After that, Dalton used the power of the bull fruit and rushed into Wapol's formation, knocking his men over. Watch out, swallow house. Wapol made an angry move, which was a move that combined all the things he ate on his body. It looked quite bluffing, but it was just an embroidered pillow. Chopper saw the right moment and knocked Wapol to the ground with another punch. Never forgive. Never forgive what you have done to this country. Chopper shed tears and beat Wapol madly. Ah, you. Wapol finally broke free. Tongue cannon. This is a trick to turn the tongue into a cannon that was eaten before and fire it. However, Chopper dodged this seemingly powerful move sideways, quickly took a pill, and dodged and rushed forward, Rumba Ball Kakusakura blowing snow. This move instantly made Wapol see stars and fall to the ground. Seeing that the time was almost up, Luffy stepped forward and said to Chopper, you are not a monster, you are a doctor who cures diseases and saves lives. You are my partner. Chopper was stunned. Luffy used the limited domineering color to suppress Wapol and said to Chopper, now you can use the move I taught you to end Wapol's sinful life. Wapol, now, pay for Haruluk's life. Fist of the King. Chopper shed tears. After a long period of accumulation, the fist wind finally penetrated Wapol completely. Wapol, die. Dalton was in the back. After finally getting rid of all Wapol's men, he looked at this scene and couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. He still clearly remembered what the man, Haruluk, said when he calmly faced death that night. When do you think people die? Not when the heart is shot, not when a terminal illness strikes, and not when they drink poisonous mushroom soup, but when they are forgotten. After the man died, the reindeer ran towards the battlefield like crazy, wanting to challenge everyone with tears, but he desperately stopped the reindeer from dying in vain. Now, watching him end Wapol with his own eyes, it seems like a lifetime ago. Ding, congratulations to the host for harvesting that swallow fruit, but Luffy is not in the mood to explore this powerful fruit now. Okay, Tony Chopper, your suffering is over. Now, are you willing to join our adventure? Are you going to join the adventure group? Luffy showed his signature smile and invited Chopper. Why do you have to invite me? My name is Tony Chopper, the name given to me by the world's greatest doctor. I also want to go on an adventure with you. But I have hooves, horns, and a body of fur. I am not a human partner, but a monster. Chopper cried. Who cares about these? I said, you are no longer a monster, but my true partner in the name of Luffy. Luffy firmly put his hand on Chopper's head, and Chopper cried silently. Okay, let's go back to the castle first. We still have to deal with the aftermath. Dr. Kuleha said. Dalton, the captain of the Kingdom Army, suddenly knelt down in front of them. Thank you for saving this country. Vivi was overwhelmed with emotions, but Luffy and the others said that they didn't need to thank him, and that this was what they should do. Back in the castle, Luffy asked the system in his mind, System, what's the matter with Chopper's human fruit? Why is it incomplete? Why can Chopper only use the basic abilities of this fruit? Is this fruit really a common fruit? Can it only allow creatures to speak and walk upright? Quote, Host, this fruit is actually not complete. It is equivalent to the immature appearance of all animal-type fruits, and now it has been eaten, so it has no abilities. However, it is precisely because this fruit was eaten before it matured that it has become the basis of all animal-type fruits. In other words, the eater of this fruit can eat a second animal-type devil fruit without any risk. The system said in the mind. Luffy's eyes lit up. Really? Absolutely true. Luffy ran directly to Ms. Dr. Kuleha and Chopper. Ms. Kuleha, Chopper, I just remembered that I have studied all the devil fruit abilities, and no fruit ability is similar to Chopper's human fruit. Now, I can prove that the fruit Chopper ate was not mature. This human fruit has completely merged with Chopper and has become the power for him to speak and walk upright. That is to say, Chopper can now eat the second devil fruit, although it can only be an animal type, but there will be no risk. Quote, Are you serious? Kuleha also got excited. It's true, I swear in the name of Nika. Luffy said firmly. Great, Chopper, it's really great, Kuleha said. then walked into the room, moved in a locked treasure box, and placed it in front of Chopper. Chopper, this is a devil fruit I have treasured for 100 years. I have never heard of anyone who can eat a second devil fruit without any risk, so I have never taken it out. Now it belongs to you, you deserve it. Ms. Kuleha, can you really give me something like this? Am I really worth it? Chopper choked up a little. Of course you're worth it. You're no longer a monster, you're a real doctor who saves the world. Ms. Kuleha's eyes were filled with tears. Ms. Kuleha, what exactly is this fruit? Luffy asked. This fruit is called the soul of a divine beast. Although it has no attacking ability, it has the miraculous ability to eliminate all pain in legends. But it is not classified as similar to any animal, so there is no specific classification. It is the animal type mythical beast species, Kirin form. Ms. Kuleha said. Kirin, is it the Kirin that steps on the auspicious cloud and eliminates all difficulties in the world? Luffy asked. Oh, there is actually such a saying. Yes, this is the Kirin fruit. Ms. Kuleha answered very firmly. The animal-type mythical beast species Kirin form fruit has the miraculous ability to soothe pain and calm people's hearts. The eater of this fruit will never be hostile to others at any time. When you are friends with the eater of this fruit, you will receive Kirin's blessing of abundance, and the speed of physical strength consumption will be reduced by half, and the speed of physical strength recovery, domineering recovery, and body self-healing will be doubled. During the period when the fruit ability is effective, it will not be affected by any abnormal state and keep a clear mind. When you are the enemy of this fruit ability user, the enemy's fighting spirit will continue to decline, and the speed of physical strength consumption will be doubled. The system's voice reminded in time. What kind of perverted ability is this? Fighting against this fruit ability user, the fighting spirit has collapsed before the fight begins, and the enemy's fighting is not as fast as the recovery of the friendly party. What can you do? The fruit of the mythical beast species is extremely thick in blood. What is a super hard auxiliary? Eat it, Chopper. You are already our true partner. You deserve it. Nami also touched Chopper's head. Such a precious thing. Such a precious thing. I really don't know how to thank you. Chopper's eyes were filled with tears. Join us, Chopper. We don't care what you look like, we only care that you are a real doctor with a kind heart. Luffy was unwavering. Yes, Chopper finally agreed, and finally ate the fruit. Chopper remembered the experience of being bullied and spurned by the deer when he was a child. He remembered the way Hilaruku picked him up, he remembered the way Hilaruku didn't want to implicate him when he was terminally ill. He remembered Hilaruku said to him, "Of course you can become a doctor, you have already been a doctor with a kind heart." He remembered Dr. Kuleha said to him, "Listen, kindness alone can't save anyone. To save people, you must have enough knowledge and medical skills. Without ability, you can't save anyone at all." He remembered every bit of studying medicine over the years, he remembered the help and acceptance of the Straw Hat Pirates during this period of time, and Chopper choked up several times. The first lesson of becoming a doctor is the growth that Hilaruku earned with his death, which is too heavy. How desperate he was when he waved the Sakura pirate flag and begged Ms. Kuleha to teach him medical skills. But from this moment on, he is no longer lonely, he is no longer confused, he is no longer alone, he has a partner by his side, Ms. Kuleha. Everyone in the Straw Hat Adventure group is his partner. He must become a doctor who can cure all diseases, a real panacea. He will never forget what Dr. Hilaruku once said unspokenly. When Chopper ate the animal mythical beast species Kirin form fruit, he instantly merged with his human fruit and could no longer be distinguished from each other. In an instant, the sky above the castle was full of rays of light, and countless peaceful clouds gathered towards Tony Chopper. The world that should have been covered in silver was actually surging with warmth at this moment, and the blizzard covering the Drum Kingdom just stopped. Dr. Kuleha took out a rusty muzzle and said to Chopper with tears in her eyes, "This is the answer that Dr. Hilaruku finally got after 30 years. Tony Chopper. Go ahead, I will practice for you." This is the answer that the two greatest doctors in the world, Dr. Kuleha and Dr. Hilaruku, got together. Chopper used the power of the Kirin fruit, pulled the sled, and flew to the sky of the Drum Kingdom with his companions. "People of this winter island, from now on, your suffering is completely over. From now on, this place change its name to Sakura Kingdom." Bursts of artillery fire came from Drum Mountain, resounding throughout the country, and everyone held their breath and stared. I saw a miracle in the night sky illuminated by the bright lights of the castle. The magnificent beast stepped on the 7 colorful clouds, countless rays of light, countless pink cherry blossoms bloomed in the wind in the snowy night, guarding the divine beast in the center that raised its head to release miracles. The divine beast that brought colorful clouds to the kingdom, the magical powder attached to the white snow turned the impossible into possible, and used beautiful miracles to heal this injured country and people. This is the miracle created by Dr. Halulik and Dr. Kuleha, and the answer they got after 30 years. At that moment, the haze of Drum Island was swept away, and the miracle symbolizing hope descended on this world, which will inspire people to create a better future. Tomorrow will be better. Kuleha shed tears. This silly son, but he will become a man who stands tall and upright. So, no sadness, no crying. As the merry gradually faded away in the colorful sky and cherry blossoms, Drum Island was reborn, and from then on, the unicorn stepped on the auspicious clouds, and all the troubles in the world disappeared. The Straw Hat adventurers are now sailing on the sea, returning to their original route and heading towards the small garden. Zoro, this is our new partner, Tony Chopper. Luffy picked up Chopper and showed him in front of Zoro. What a cute raccoon cat. Zoro's mouth twitched, with an expressionless look. Oh, I won't be happy even if you praise me for being cute. Chopper immediately became shy. No, it's not a raccoon cat, it's a reindeer, a reindeer. Akin touched Chopper's head. This is our new ship doctor of the Straw Hat adventurers. Ship doctor. It's actually a ship doctor, a reindeer who can treat illnesses, amazing. Zoro said. Nami said on the side. Okay, don't bully him, Chopper is our group pet, a partner recognized by everyone. Nami also hugged Chopper. Chopper was shy again. Luffy smiled and said, Chopper, you have to work hard. Besides preparing medicine and treating illnesses, you still have to train yourself well. Now your combat effectiveness in our team is at the bottom. Well, I will work hard. Chopper clenched his hands. Name, Tony Chopper. Observation Hockey. Not awakened. Although it has been accelerated by 100 times, Chopper cannot directly awaken the 2-color Hockey in these few days. After all, Chopper's foundation is too weak. But Chopper's physical skills have improved to a certain extent. Armament Hockey. Not awakened. Physical skills. Iron Block. 27% for beginners. Shave. 20% for beginners. Paper Painting. 9% for beginners. Moon Step. 8% for beginners. Storm Kick. 18% for beginners. Finger Gun. 17% for beginners. Instant Step. 13% for beginners. Collapse Punch. 50% for beginners. Devil Fruit. Animal type human fruit Kirin form awakening progress, 10%. Luffy smiled and remembered the conversation with Dr. Kuleha during the 2 days of training Chopper. You really want to take Chopper as your partner, you must take good care of him. He has been studying medicine for the past few years. Whenever he sees sick people in the kingdom, he secretly treats them. But after they are cured, they will treat Chopper as a monster and run away. Tell me if he is stupid, how can you repay kindness with kindness? You said your name is Monkey D. Luffy, and you ate Joy Boy's animal type mythical beast human fruit Nika form. What do you want to do? Do you want to overthrow the world? I want to surpass Joy Boy. Ha ha ha, great kid, I'll wait for good news. Ms. Kuleha, can you? Hey, stop it, I'm just a 140-year-old woman, I'm already a semi-recluse, I can't help you. Do you know what the secret of my youthful mentality is? That is, I never mind other people's business, I just want to be happy and live a good life, I don't care about the floods in front of and behind him. Hiss, I remember. I can't remember how many years ago, a man named Luo D. Rogers' young man came to invite me to board the ship, and later a kid named Monkey D. Dragon came to invite me to join the Revolutionary Army, but I beat them all up and drove them out, haha. Luffy said with a smile. Dr. Kuleha is really a senior who does what she wants and lives as she pleases. Living in seclusion like this, looking at this senior, I will become more yearning for the ideal world. Yes, there are many things we can learn from Dr. Kuleha's calm personality. Usopp said. Next, we will pass by the small garden and prepare to go to Alabasta. I am really worried about everyone in Alabasta. Vivi sighed. During this period, Princess Vivi has also experienced a lot. She is no longer crying like before, and even wants to kneel down when she encounters difficulties. Usopp also recalled the conversation with Dr. Kuleha. Ms. Kuleha, can you please help me make a set of seastone bullets, plus a few pairs of ultra-high-density tranquilizers, anesthetics, etc., preferably effective for super strong people on the sea. Oh, are you a sniper? It seems that you are also a person who wants to do big things. No problem, I'll take this little thing. As night fell, everyone else went to bed, but Luffy was in trouble when he looked at the swallow fruit he took out from the system space. He had asked all the crew members about this fruit, and no one wanted to eat it, and it was not appropriate to give it to anyone. But this swallow fruit is a god-level fruit to some extent. If it is left alone, it would be too wasteful. Suddenly, Luffy's eyes lit up. No one wanted this fruit, and it was not appropriate to give it to anyone, but there is another person who is very suitable on the Golden Mary. The system should be able to do this kind of thing. Moreover, in the original work, there is a huge regret that has not been filled. In the original work, the ship spirit of the Golden Mary has never been born, and it has not been able to show up in front of other people until the Golden Mary was burned and swallowed by flames. How can Luffy allow this to happen? How can the Golden Mary disappear in the future? Do it as soon as you say it. System, is it possible? Can it be done? Can the ship spirit eat the devil fruit? Luffy asked in his mind. Yes, the system gave a positive answer. As long as the host can summon the ship spirit, I can help the ship spirit eat the devil fruit. But in that case, the ship spirit will be shaped according to the host's image and wishes, and become a physical spirit that can meet everyone. So, are you there, Mary? Luffy muttered. Silence, silence as the Golden Mary tonight. After a long silence, a telepathy suddenly appeared in Luffy's heart. It was an extremely ethereal voice. I'm here, you are worthy of me. My dear Captain, you are the first one to discover my existence. As if in the dark, under the cloudless night sky, a somewhat illusory little figure appeared on the deck of the Golden Mary. He looked like a miniature cute version of the bow of the Mary, and a cute little sheep-shaped ship spirit appeared in front of Luffy. He opened his clear eyes and jumped to Luffy. Hello, Captain Luffy. Nice to meet you. Mary's ethereal voice sounded again in Luffy's heart. Luffy wanted to reach out and hug him, but unfortunately, it was just a spirit, visible but not touchable. He seemed to have only a slightly illusory, peaceful face, and smiled at Luffy. Hello, Mary. It's great to meet again. At this moment, Luffy could no longer suppress the joy in his heart. Luffy had read the original work of One Piece, and one of the tragic endings he wanted to change the most has finally come to fruition. The ship elves that did not appear in the original work now appear in front of him. The ship elves are wonderful creatures that belong to the world of One Piece. As the name suggests, the ship elves are elves that are slowly bred by the built ships. The conditions for the birth of the ship elves are very harsh. According to the setting in the original work of One Piece, one is that all the crew members on the ship must devote the most real and warmest feelings to the ship, and the other is that the ship must be maintained regularly and try not to damage the ship. After a long time, it is also possible for the ship elves to be born. However, there are many benefits after the birth of the ship elves. The ship elves can help maintain the ship and prevent the ship from falling into disrepair. The ship elves can predict in advance when the ship is about to encounter various natural disasters, run around to warn the crew to take precautions, or directly avoid them. The ship elves are also the darlings of the world and are one of the creatures that know this sea best. I'm Monkey D. Luffy, just call me Luffy. Mary, wait a minute, I'll go and inform everyone. It's okay to meet everyone, Luffy said anxiously. Seeing that Mary was just smiling peacefully, he went to the cabin and called all his companions without thinking about anything else. How could he not participate in such a memorable event with everyone? So, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Kin, and Vivi came out of the cabin one after another. What, Luffy, there are no enemies. If you don't tell me why you pulled me up after I fell asleep, Nami gestured with her fist. Luffy, what is this? Zoro immediately saw the magical creature sitting on the edge of the boat, shaking his feet with a tired smile. Wow, so cute, what big thing has Captain Luffy done again? Vivi's eyes lit up, and which girl doesn't like such a cute thing? What is it this time? Kin asked. Usopp asked, hey Luffy, this can't be. Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, Kin, Chopper, and Vivi, hello. I'm Mary. Mary couldn't speak, but her ethereal voice rang clearly in the hearts of each of them. Nami stared at the cute creature in front of her with her eyes wide open. Luffy, what did he say his name was? Mary. Is he the Golden Mary? Vivi. A dull-faced JPG. Vivi was already numb with shock. Since she had been with the Straw Hat Adventure Group for a while, there have been too many magical things that she had never experienced before, such as when she was in the Drum Kingdom, Nami could actually take her to fly to the Drum Mountain. Shocked, a magical creature appeared on the Golden Mary. What on earth is this? Zoro was also shocked and asked, Captain, is this true? Really, this is true, Vice Captain. Luffy replied with a smile. As you can see with your own eyes, this child is the ship spirit of the Golden Mary. He was officially born tonight. Luffy looked around at everyone. Hey 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 hey, everyone screamed. This is too magical. The legendary ship spirit actually exists. Sanji exclaimed. Thank you, Captain Luffy, and everyone. It is because of you that I can experience so many wonderful adventures together. Without you, without love, I can't get here. Mary's ethereal voice sounded again in everyone's heart. No need to thank you, no need to thank you. Because you are also our absolutely indispensable partner. Everyone chirped in response, and at this moment, they seemed a little homesick. Luffy said silently in his heart, this time, I will never watch you disappear again. Even Jesus can't take you away. I said it. But I am just a spirit. I can't manifest for a long time and meet you often. Mary's tone seemed a little lost. There must be a way to solve it. Don't be disappointed, Mary. Everyone comforted her again. Being able to take everyone on an adventure at sea is the happiest thing for me. Don't be sad for me, even if I can't talk to you like this often, I feel very happy. I remember every bit of the adventure with you. Captain Luffy likes to sit on the bow and blow the sea breeze and think quietly. Zoro likes to practice weightlifting on the deck. Nami likes to draw nautical charts in her room and record various of weather and celestial phenomena. Usopp likes to clean his sniper rifle in his room and tinker with all kinds of novelty gadgets. Sanji likes to create all kinds of delicious food in the kitchen. Mr. Akin likes to do push-ups in his room. The newest member, Chopper, nice to meet you. Chopper responded a little shyly. And Miss Vivi likes to sit at the window and stare at the sea. Everyone couldn't help crying when they heard the telepathy from the ship spirit of the Mary. Okay, Mary, it's not time to be sad yet. How can you think that I can't help you to live with everyone truly? How can you think that I can't help you to have your own body and be with everyone forever? Luffy also wiped away his tears and said, is there a way? Is there really a way? Nami asked anxiously. Luffy nodded. What happened? What happened? Is there really a way to solve this problem? Mary suddenly opened her round eyes, puzzled. Captain Luffy, can I have my own body? Really? Mary was a little excited. Luffy nodded. Of course, Mary, you are our important partner. After you have your own body, you can accompany me to blow the sea breeze, accompany Nami to draw nautical charts, become Zoro's dumbbell, taste Sanji's food, and, in short, everything you can think of is possible. Mary heard that the joyful mood seemed to infect every member of the Straw Hat Adventure Group, including Vivi. Luffy said seriously, Mary, this is the swallow fruit. I will help you eat it. This fruit will become your carrier, let you have a physical body, and live with us. Are you willing to eat it? Question. Isn't Mary a ship elf? Can he also eat the devil fruit? I've never heard of it. But after eating the devil fruit, can the Golden Mary still go into the water? Won't the devil fruit user be rejected by the sea? Sanji asked in confusion. Of course Mary can eat the devil fruit. As for whether it will be rejected by the sea, it is Mary who eats the devil fruit. What does it have to do with the Golden Mary? Luffy said with a smile. That makes sense. So, with the help of Luffy, Mary ate the swallow fruit, but Luffy knew that Mary would transform according to Luffy's image, wishes, and will, but why? Mary will become a white little sun wearing a Q version of a straw hat. This is not right. This is definitely not right. Because you are Nika Sun God. The voice of the system sounded in my mind. This image is not bad. So, the Golden Mary responded to our bond and evolved into Mage. Mage Golden Mary, permanent appearance. Early that morning, the Straw Hat adventurers were sailing on the boundless sea. Now they have returned to their original route. According to Nami's estimate, they will reach the ancient island, Little Garden, at noon at the latest. After Mary ate the swallow fruit, the Golden Mary absorbed the building materials that were previously reserved for ship maintenance. Now it has completed a comprehensive upgrade and evolution, more than twice as large as before. According to Luffy's estimate, it may be no less than the future Thousand Sunshine in the original work. Of course, the future Thousand Sunshine cannot be abandoned either. Now that Mary has eaten the swallow fruit, the ship spirit is already a devil fruit ability user in fact. If there are any precious materials in the future, just let the ship spirit eat them and transform the ship. Please, who can refuse a ship that can transform? Think about the enemies you may encounter in the future. When you are fighting, the enemy's ship suddenly transforms into a Gundam and presses them to the ground. What kind of scene is that? Don't mention how happy it is. What will it say after being defeated? Being beaten to a pulp by a ship that can transform. Just thinking about it is exciting. According to Luffy and the others' suggestions, Mary began to transform. The keel, sails, etc. were fully reinforced, and there was no need to worry about not being able to cruise the world with a single ship. It is fully capable of dealing with various emergencies, and even Mary, the ship spirit, as an intelligent AI, can adjust the ship to the way she likes at will, and there is no need to worry about enemy attacks. Mary will automatically counterattack. Now, the kinetic energy system of the Mary has also been adjusted to be compatible with various energy drives, but coke is not available as an energy source, and it can only be used after the shipwright Frankie comes on board. But it is not a big deal. Now the configuration on the Golden Mary is complete. The ship is divided into 4 floors including the cabin. The bottom floor is the warehouse, the upper floor includes the energy control room, the gym, etc. And the upper floor is the cruise rooms and studios, restaurants, etc. The top floor includes a kitchen, a medical room, and a captain's room. In short, the current configuration of the Mary is already quite complete, and it can be upgraded to a deluxe version when the subsequent shipbuilders come on board. Nami, we will arrive at the ancient island, the small garden in half a day. Remember to prepare various protections and medicines. There must be no accidents. Didn't Ms. Dr. Kuleha prepare various protections for us when she heard that we were going to the small garden? Everything on that island cannot be judged by common sense, so we can only take precautions before it happens. Luffy shouted. I know, haven't we all learned to be domineering? As long as we are careful enough, there are very few people who can threaten us. Besides, we still have our lovely Dr. Chopper. It's okay, Nami said confidently. Even if you say I'm cute, I won't be happy. But, even if you are ready, you must not take it lightly. Chopper is still shy. Got it, Dr. Chopper. After sailing for about an hour, an unexpected person suddenly attacked. Suddenly, a strange thing flew in the distant sky, and in everyone's perception, this thing is an enemy, not a friend. Luffy looked closely. Oh, isn't this the fighter of the Don Quixote family, Buffalo? What is on his back? In the original work, Caesar's secretary, the bird girl, Monet. Remember, she is also a member of the Don Quixote family. What's going on? It seems that what happened during this period of time has caused a big butterfly effect. Even the Don Quixote family, which originally appeared in the New World, is now coming fiercely. Luffy raised his straw hat slightly, glanced at the 2 people flying over, turned his head and said to his partner. It looks like we have to fight again. These 2 are fighters of the Don Quixote family of the 7 warlords of the sea. They are coming here at this time, not to show us goodwill. Well, Captain, just give the order. Does anyone want to go? If no one takes the initiative, I will start fighting directly. Zoro is still so eager to fight. Since he is an enemy, I will take care of the fat man flying in the sky. Although the woman on his back is an enemy, I will never hit a woman. Sanji said in a chivalrous manner. Luffy, Captain Luffy, is it really okay? Vivi was a little nervous. Luffy comforted her and told her to relax, there was no problem, and Vivi was relieved. These 2 are members of the Don Quixote family. Buffalo, a superhuman twister fruit user, can turn any part of his body into a propeller. He has a rare flying ability and can turn into an airplane to fly. The propeller can also blow strong winds like a typhoon. Monet, a natural snow fruit user. It can create snow by changing the shape of its wings. Its body can become as cold as ice. Even if it is defeated by pure physical attacks, its body can be reorganized instantly. It can also freely shuttle in the snow it creates, and even blow up a blizzard by spreading its wings. Its weaknesses are high temperature and fire. As long as it approaches high-temperature objects, the ability of ice and snow will be invalidated, and it will also be burned. Quote. Luffy directly disclosed the information of the two. Straw Hat Adventure Group, are you the one who killed Kuro? The young master ordered us to get rid of you. At this time, Buffalo and Monet finally flew over the Golden Mary and declared from a high position. Look, it's the enemy. Usopp raised the huge slingshot of Black Hood and wanted to shoot them down. Chopper and Mary, two cute creatures, sat side by side, and there was no tension at all. Akin continued to do push-ups and ignored the two. Buffalo and Monet saw that they were completely ignored. The crew on this ship dared to ignore them. They were immediately furious and repeated what they had just said. Are they repeaters? Akin finally responded. Luffy held his forehead helplessly. It seemed that Doflamingo had not collected any intelligence. Since he sent such two great gifts, he would accept them with gratitude. Thank you Doflamingo for the rocket. Zoro, shoot them down. Quote. Zoro heard this and swung his sword, which was a huge flying slash. The two fell down with a look of shock and fear. Luffy was used to such expressions. He walked directly to the two people who fell on the deck and poked them. A horrible blood mark spread to Buffalo's lower abdomen. He had fainted. Monet raised his head with blood on his face and said in horror, "What's the matter with you guys? The first half, how could there be a monster like you in the first half?" Quote. Luffy smiled and said, "Okay, I'm not interested in explaining this to you. What does Doflamingo want to do? Is he so brainless? I was thinking that we would not interfere with each other for the time being, but you actually came here to kill us. Who gave you the courage?" Quote. Monet remained silent, frantically trying to get her body moving and running away, but it was no use. Although the slash did not kill her, it scared her out of her wits. Luffy continued, "Okay, I'm not interested in wasting time with you guys anymore, let's go. Remember to dream to Doflamingo and tell him not to mess with us, or we'll just go get his head." Ding, congratulations to the host for harvesting the superhuman twist fruit and the natural snow fruit. Harvest a natural fruit, and have a party. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.